Hello everyone, welcome to the stream if you're watching on the replay or if you're just lurking in the chat. A bit weird if you remembered, well, I guess if you remembered you might be in the chat, but a bit weird if you just showed up randomly before I started. Welcome to the stream. Today we got a little bit of CTGP Deluxe to come for you here. If you're not familiar with what this is, I'll make you familiar throughout the course of tonight's edition of Mario Kart Mondays. Here we're here in week 5. Getting ever closer to the release of Mario Kart Worlds. So lots to look forward to. We still got 3 more editions until June 5th. So got quite a little bit to go. Still some stuff to check out here, and I've been given a lot of custom track love over these last few weeks because there's a lot of really talented people making some cool things in the Mario Kart community. So it adds like a breath of new life to these games for me. And one of by far the most impressive is here on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is CTGP Deluxe. Like mentioned, a mod of 8 Deluxe in particular that has like so much new stuff. If you've not seen this before, it's awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing this again tonight. It runs on modded switches and on emulator. As you can see here, this is a modded switch. I had to set this up from scratch, which is why there's nothing on it. I have 2 games, I know, it's super fancy. And as you can see, this is still the old system version. It's not a new one because like custom firmware stuff only came out for version 20 as of like Saturday or something. And it took so much effort to get this up and running again because I just seemed to break something every system update. So I was like, I'm not moving. And case in point, I can prove to you that I'm still on the old system version. There he is. But anyway, yeah, this is a super cool mod that I'm looking forward to checking out. So you can see here, by the way, absolutely no sign of online play. That's not officially supported because Nintendo is super ban happy with online and stuff like that. Wireless play wasn't supported until version 2.0 of the mod, because even stuff done in wireless play is sent back to Nintendo. But I think they must have figured out a way to disable that, presumably. So you can use, where is it? I've got a drink in my hand, that's not good to show off these things. There you go, you can use LAN play to play over X-Link Kai and other similar like tunneling software, so you can kind of get the same effect as if you had an online mode. But it's a little annoying in that regard, but also a lot of cool new settings, as you can see here. In particular, this menu has some tweaks, which seem to just go back to default every time I close the mod, which is really weird. But luckily, there's nothing like I massively want to change in this menu anyway. As you can see here, you can just go back to normal, like network mode if you want to interface with normal switches, I'm guessing, and go into stealth mode or whatever. Or you can play with deluxe players. The race timer and speedometer I'm going to leave on. That's a pretty common thing in all these sorts of games. People like knowing what speed they're going to, be able to measure that, measure like certain statistics or whatever. And the timer's just handy. I honestly don't know why this game doesn't have a timer, because most Mario Karts have one somewhere on screen. So a bit weird that this was the game to like nip that trend unless you're in time trials. And default race BGM. So this is the coolest thing by far to me about this mod. Not just that it's like a new game or whatever, so it's exciting in that regard, but custom OST. Now, Author's Pick is a bit more of like a traditional like Mario Kart, CTGP 7, Mario Kart 7 kind of thing. Just some random VGM with a front-running beat and stuff like that. Meaning this is an entirely original soundtrack, which is really cool. Well, I say entirely, not quite entirely. Some tracks don't have remixes. They use like the official Nintendo ones, like you know how certain tracks share them in their base games. So they'll use whatever version's already in Mario Kart 8, for example, or if it's an arcade track, they'll use the arcade version. Stuff like that. Otherwise, pretty much everything in here is original. It's really cool. Welcome, Mallory. I have no idea why that took so long to show up on the chat. I'm actually probably gonna refresh that if you give me a second here, just to try and sort that. Refresh cache. There we go. Right, that should have sorted it, hopefully. Yeah, hope you're having a good one. Thanks for joining us here. This does work with the Network Course Pass as well. Oh, sorry, the Booster Course Pass. Can this do online? No, but I just showed it off here. If you use the cheat code for... Why are you not doing it now? There we go. If you use the cheat code for LAN play, there is support for it on X-Link Kai. So, kind of like LAN play mode on any other console, that sort of thing. That's the generally agreed way to do online, because Nintendo's really ban happy. Unfortunately. But yeah, there are ways around it, as I said. So yeah, I'm just delaying loads. We should get here into single player, because we're already late this evening. Green Inkling Girl, okay, I can work with that. Despite this being, you know, a fully custom modded version of the game, I actually don't have that many custom characters. I have one that I'll show off, I guess, second race now. But yeah, we're going to do similar to CTGP Nitro, the DS one. We're going to do an All Cups tour, where I play through every custom track in the game. I'm going to do it 4 races at a time, so that we can keep going around and swapping karts and combos and things like that. So yeah, I'm also, in this case, going to set some custom rules as well, just to... Otherwise this could be quite long, so I'm going to turn off items and stuff, which you can do in this. You can't do that in Mario Kart DS, which is a shame, because it would have sped up Mario Kart DS a tiny bit with all those blue shells and stuff. Anyway, Green Inkling Girl, do you have a preference on the kart combo and things like that? Otherwise, this is a tried and true classic right here. This is like the best combo of most characters, so I'm mostly going to stick with this today for the reason of... Yeah, it is quote-unquote the meta, of course. That's a nice reason to use it, but also... This controls so nicely with every character. It turns really tight and is generally just very nice to use, so I tend to stick with this quite a lot when messing with random characters. Welcome, Pete. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for dropping by. If I do get wild, I have no idea who I'll play as. Join the club. Okay, so I'm gonna go to 150. It would be way quicker to do 200, but no, we're gonna go the intended way. We're gonna do 150, no teams. I'm gonna go down to no items at all. Oh wait, no items or... Yeah, no items with coins. I'm sure I'll play as a character in the game. It's a bold assumption. We'll leave CPUs normal, all vehicles, courses in order, 4 races. Is it? It's not a surefire. Okay, so if we press X, there you go, all the booster course pass tracks. It's when you press L and R here that things start to get a bit spicy. A bold assumption would be asking if you're going to SonicCon. Does that need asking? We all know you are, but... Yeah, here we go. So we have 64 tracks total, I believe. I counted them earlier, so I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 64. It's 2 sets of 32, yeah, so it is. So we're going to go through these one by one. And we're going to start here. I'm just trying to figure out which of the faces I know is going TBH. The last 2 are going... since not a lot went to Manchester. Well, that's because it's Manchester. I know Dave and Claire are going. That would be of interest to you. I'm trying to think who else both mutually know who I know is going that you wouldn't already know of through like Twitter or whatever else. So here we go. On the somewhat Alluri combo classic. Also, custom coins and stuff is a feature which I know is a really silly thing, but I enjoy that a lot. I don't know why the Animal Crossing villages are here, but I also don't know why this track of all tracks to start off, but we do. Yeah, like it looks super nice. Most of the remixes are on par with like actual Mario Kart 8 remixes. There's a real sound team behind this and things like that. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I've seen this map before. This is from Arcade, one of the Arcade Mario Karts, as you can tell by the fact, you know, Namco franchise. I don't know why they chose this one to start off the courses, to be honest. It's a very good track, it just confuses me a little bit. Isn't Cumu involved? On like one track, I want to say. There's like a couple guest tracks. I think Cumu's on one of them. The main team is... Oh, I can only remember 2 of them. I can't remember the third person, I do apologise. Nartoni is the guitarist, classic RS meme, of course. Also, some very good music. And Kochu's the main production. I'd highly recommend following her on Blue Sky and stuff. Very good music, as you'll hear throughout the pack here. But yeah, we get little heads up of like what every track is as well, so if you like what you hear, and there's easy ways to find it. But if it's from the actual... I just can't use the drummers cartwheel, is outrageous. I wish. Yeah, if you enjoy any of the custom music, it's all available on Bandcamp for absolutely free, so I'd recommend checking out that soundtrack. Even if you don't play the mod, it's just a good soundtrack on its own. There's like a bunch of Mario Kart 8 styled remixes of random tracks from the series. It's good stuff. Anyway, yeah, that clean race there is why I turned off items. Because that already went like 2 minutes quicker than it would have being pinged red shells at back and forth and things like that. Okay. Okay, so that doesn't work. That's good to know, I guess. I've never actually tried that before. The bear headlights are creepy. I'm going to be honest, I've never looked at them, but just a little bit. Oh, are we modding? Yes, this is a modded version of the game. As you'll be able to see when I go back to the title here, actually. There you go. Yes, that is the big aim of tonight. We play MK8D Deluxe a lot, and I'll be playing like normal versions of the game come, well, a couple of weeks from now, actually, in the run-up to World. But for now, I wanted to check this out, because, hey, not a lot of people will be able to play it, so it's kind of fun to show it off. Right, let's do this again. Luckily, it did actually save my thing, but we're now going to have to do choose, I guess. Which takes way more time, because you've got to load back into the menu every time, but I don't really want to do it through Grand Prix mode because of the no items thing, so I guess I'm just going to have to swallow that. I've not been invested in a Mario Kart game since Double Dash. That is perfectly fair. It's a much bigger game than Double Dash as well, if you're going to start anywhere, so that could either be a good or a bad thing, depending on who you are. Sorry, as you can hear, I'm taking swigs from a drink while it's actually still cold, because that won't last today. Hey, let's get on to the real track too. Water Park, I hardly know her. Here you go, first of the proper remixes here. Many more to come. Grab her on from the fridge while I edit. I had a meal deal early today. Why can't I drive? I had a meal deal earlier today, so I was like, I'll keep the drink for later, because I actually already had bought another drink from a different shop. So I was like, cool, I'll tuck into that now, because it will be super warm in this room, and it's not as bad as it was earlier, but it'll get there over the 2 or whatever hours that this will take, so I'm definitely going to appreciate every little bit of that. Now, this is a SNES track, so sometimes I do struggle to figure out where I'm going, especially when there's like huge obstacles in the middle of the course, but it's alright. Luckily it's only 3 laps, so it'll be a nice and quick one. Editing anything fun as of right now, if you've not already run to the fridge while I'm saying this? It'd be so cool when modded stuff becomes more accessible. Oh, 100%. Like, even people with modded Switches like me find it really annoying to use them, because every time it updates, you have to update like 4 separate things to actually be able to use it. And I always break game compatibility and have to like factory reset. But once updates stop becoming a thing and mod chips keep getting cheaper, because you know, you can just do it for quote-unquote free with the older Switches, but mod chips are getting really cheap already because someone cloned a popular one. So as a result, I've seen them for like $5 to $10. So when stuff like that starts getting more mature and doesn't constantly have to rely on the cat and mouse game, that's when this is going to be really cool. Wait, that's the wrong track. Luckily, I can go back on that. There are a couple of repeats. In particular, I think Moonview Highway is the big one I remember, because the track was already being worked on before it appeared. Oh, that's ZPL. ZPL's the creator of one of the other mods we did. If you watched the Retro Rewind episode, I had no idea he made some custom tracks for 8 Deluxe. That's kind of cool. Yeah, as like it gets more mature and updates don't keep like messing with random things, it will for sure just like be like the Switch modding scene's always had some really cool stuff, but it's always been a little bit hampered by accessibility, because even if you can access it, sometimes it's just such a hassle to do these things that, you know, the right people would make some really cool stuff for it instead. You know, like MK8D Deluxe, until like pandemic-ish time, wasn't very popular for modding. People were still doing the Wii U version, even though you could do the Switch version. It's only in recent years that Switch modding for this game really took off. So, you know, there was like stuff like that, and I'm sure there's many games that are still kind of suffering from that, for example. Oh yeah, I can imagine actually bothering to do manual subtitles takes ages to edit as well, by the way. I'm not sure what's up with those coins. I don't know whether it's just like broken textures or it's meant to have like a ghost effect. Because if it's a ghost effect thing, it's kind of cool, but I get the feeling that is not the case. Yeah, like this mod blew me away. Like, I've played a couple of custom track things on the Wii U version before, and they've never honestly been very good. They've always been more proof of concept than anything. But like, this has got all the custom codes and like you know, some good direction in terms of you know, not just picking out anything as the releases on Game Banana. You know, being like really selective with things and actively updating it when, you know, like graphical updates and things come out for these tracks, and especially, like I said a million times over, the soundtrack adds so much more credibility to it. It really feels like a premium package with, and blends really well with the base game content as well, which most of the time the CTGPs are pretty good at. I think that's kind of, you know, they're all separate teams, but that's kind of almost what makes them all feel like cohesive and deserving of the name. You know, it's not just like some random slap together thing. It's always like a lot of thought and care put into it or whatever. So this absolutely does justice so far. Hey, Baby Peach. Sometimes the CPUs are pretty good with pathing, other times they just get really lost, bless them, so get used to that. Distractions do not help. Hey, that's me. Hi, I'm here. Alright, last one. It's a different game without items. It really is. It's honestly quite a chill game. I just like driving games anyway, so it's obviously still a kart racer, but it brings it more in line with a typical driving game because of it. But like, if I'm just doing like an all-track run or whatever, that's very different to like... Oh, there you go again. There's a lot of... Oh, yeah, I can see that for sure. I don't know, like... I could see how this would also not be fun playing online without items equally, but like if you're playing with people of like an equal skill level, it's a kind of fun little challenge. But yeah, when I play offline, I do mostly still tend to like stick with items on for like friends and even just like playing against CPUs and stuff. It's when I'm doing like these all track runs. Like the purpose is seeing all the tracks and driving around all of them, not just getting smacked with items or whatever, you know. Like when I'm just playing a versus race to play a versus race, that's an entirely different thing. But I've been hinting at like the fact I want to do a randomizer with this game and Mario Kart Wii and stuff like that, and I'd absolutely prioritize. I remember this track. This track isn't like the most polished, but it's still pretty cool. But what was I gonna say? I think this is a port of a Mario Kart Wii track, if memory serves correct as well, which would make sense given, as I said, ZPL is way more prolific in Mario Kart Wii as a creator. I can't remember. I completely lost it. But yeah, no, like I said I was going to randomize it and stuff, and I'd absolutely turn items off in that scenario because that's not the challenge, quote unquote, or like the main point of it. So I don't know why my drift just dropped there. I'm going to chalk that up to just Switch wireless interference things, which happens every now and then. This is a relatively new controller as well. I did grab a 8-bit do recently to replace my Pro Controller because I was like, I'm not going to use an official Pro Controller on Switch 2 probably. They're way too expensive, and I don't know if I like the D-pad or whatever. Does it feel nice to have DX drifting back? So good. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I like the D-pad and stuff like that, but I was kind of fine when they said that you won't be able to wake the console with the Pro Controller or whatever, because it's already kind of a pain on Switch 1 anyway. You like has to fit. 90% of controllers don't do that, and this one does, but you have to physically shake the controller to activate the wake up command, which is really weird. Apparently Switch 2 just flat out gets rid of it for Switch 1 controllers, don't know why. I don't know if it's like a bandwidth weird, you know, Bluetooth thing, because like maybe they upgraded to Bluetooth LE instead of whatever Bluetooth version they're using currently, and therefore it just makes it weird and incompatible. But apparently supposedly Rumble is also affected. I'm like, oh, fuck off, you can't use Rumble on a Switch 1 Pro Controller, what? And supposedly reports came out the other day that apparently the D-pad is fixed compared to like the issues that people had with the Pro Controller 1, so I was like, kind of makes it a bit more tempting. At that point, sell this Ultimate and then get the Xbox branded one and use it on Xbox instead, because I really like this thing. Yeah, the D-pad on the Switch 2 Pro Controller looks concerningly familiar. I have no idea what you mean. Smiley face. Yeah, not the greatest of tracks, but for an original idea, it's kind of cool. Okay. Alright, we can quit this, because that was the end of that GP. Look at the frame rate. That looks really weird. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Let me just deactivate and reactivate that. Switch controllers have left a bad taste in my mouth, ATM. Oh yeah, I can for sure see why, given current circumstances. Right, anyway, I can go to my one custom character that I have installed. They actually have like a custom icon and everything like that, but you can't see it right now. So, here you go. It has a custom icon and things, but it doesn't work with CTGP 8 because there's just so many code changes that it actually is incompatible, which is a shame, but the mod itself is, so I will take full advantage of that. Oh yeah, it's well good in here, by the way. This is a really cool track. 1 month, I know, that's... So what, they're the ones that came with your OLED, right? That is actually nuts. I've had some... I've seen some crap Joy-Cons over the years, but I've never heard of 1 month to drift. Anyway, Rob. We were robbed of him in Kart 8, quite literally, but then I look at him on this bike and kind of understand why it is a little bit weird. Dropping B inputs, is that attached or physical, or, you know, like, what's the word? Wireless. Because, yeah, I tend to have more problems wirelessly with Joy-Cons than I've ever had when they're physically hooked to the console, personally. Both. Oh, okay, so yeah, that isn't like wireless or a connection thing, because you know you could argue like, oh, it's the pins or whatever, or oh, it's, but like that's physically an internal thing at some point. And the Joy-Con itself in general is that's actually ridiculous. Like that's next level quality control for that to leave the factory, isn't it? That is actually nuts. Hey, third-party Joy-Cons, here we come. I mean, unless you need to use them wireless, in which case, adapter. Or, you know, like some sort of like dual sense. There you go. You got a dual sense edge. Use an 8-bit do adapter and use that on the Switch. That's not going to drift on you. Well, it will, but at least you can swap the joysticks. Pull out the Nitro deck. A bit too hot out of storage. Yeah, good call. At that point, honestly. Yeah, because I was going to either say, Nitro Deck makes sense, but also, if not Nitro Deck, then you've got, like, the Hori split pads and stuff like that go pretty cheap used, so... At least you got options, but yeah, that is honestly kind of nutty. I know people are already going AWOL at the fact that Switch 2 doesn't have Hall Effect joysticks, but... I don't... Hall Effect isn't, like, the only end-all be-all of, you know, like, whatchamacallit, like, good quality joysticks. So we don't actually know what the sticks are made out of right now, as far as I know, or, you know, like, materials and technology or whatever. So there is a chance they could be completely fine. People are just going, oh, no Hall Effect, Nintendo cheaping out and want them to drift again. It's like, doesn't necessarily mean it. There are other technologies that have popped up that kind of have, like, similar properties to Hall Effect in that very minimal chances / no chance of drift. Like, they're just not as well known. My modded Life Joy-Con is Hall Effect. I've noticed no difference. What do you mean in terms of actual, like, usability or not screwing up, or like how exactly? Also, yeah, Morton, totally, guys. We're just going to ignore that and pretend it says Rob. Response and accuracy. Yeah, my left Joy-Con, which came with the console, started drifting like 2021-ish. And this was just before the Hall Effect modules came out that I replaced this. So this is like a month or two before they dropped. So it's using like a third-party one. I can definitely feel the difference in terms of the stick is like a little bit more, what's the word? Like, you can feel there's like a tiny bit more click to it or whatever. It's not as good quality of a part, so to say. But it's also not drifted. And it's arguably at this point outlived the official Nintendo part. So technically on paper, you know, it will probably still drift at some point, but technically on paper they've, you know, not had to do a Hall Effect and still kind of outdone the Nintendo sticks in a way. So, like, it is possible, but, you know, people don't look at reason when it comes to news articles sometimes. Like, we haven't had them for long enough to see whether they have issues yet. Like, you can't just assume just because it doesn't have Hall Effects it's going to be a shit stick or whatever. Maybe I could tweak the dead zones and see the difference. That's not possible. You can manually do that with Hall Effect sticks, right? Because that's how they're calibrated in the factory. They're kind of actually really fiddly from what I know. If you get them for certain consoles, like you have to do a lot of calibration to like a really precise microscopic degree sometimes in order to actually get them working properly. Also, very cool track, by the way. I really like this iteration of Mario Circuit, and well, this is clearly building off the version that's in Mario Kart 7 with the glider ramp and stuff like that. I can't... Is this 2? This is Mario Circuit 2, right? I think it's Mario Circuit 2, or is it 4? I can't remember. Oh, reducing the dead zone. Once again, I assume that's probably something you could do, though, although there's like an inherent dead zone built into the Switch hardware, kind of, isn't there? Or rather the like OS, I mean, so not hardware at all. If these tracks are meant to fit completely... if these tracks are meant to fit in, then why isn't it completely flat? True, there's like levels and up and downs and things like that. Like, we can't be having that. This doesn't feel like the booster course pass at all. There's unfortunately no bouncer there as far as I can tell, like you could do on the Mario Kart 7 version, which was always super satisfying. There we go, another dub for Morton. Where next? Volcanic Skyway. It feels familiar and I can't think why. Have I played this in something and just forgotten about it? At least the name sounds familiar as well. Like, maybe I've just heard of it from somewhere. I mean, I've played all these tracks before for the most part. Oh! Oh, this is the Xenoblade track. Yes, I remember now. It's not actually based on Xenoblade, it just plays you will know her name for some reason. I don't quite understand, but it works. Oh, right, this is section-based, yes. I remember now. Speaking of music, I finished loading up the Walkman. Got anything fun on it? As of, you know, last couple of weeks, I'm guessing. You've probably uploaded stuff before. Also, I kept Rob's weird arm wiggling thing that reacts to which direction you're going, which I love. It's always one of my favourite things about him in DS. I love the visual feedback of that. It was always fun. To me, at least. Look, I just want justice for him. I just want him to reappear in something, but it won't happen. He'd like be day one playable character for me. I'd be happy. Be like, oh no, Black Yoshi. Oh, just play Rob. What a shame. Smash Anthology and Sega Wii U Championship 30th Anniversary. Is that the Smash Anthology? Is in the one that came with 3DS on slash Wii U, kinda, I guess, on Club Nintendo. Is it that one? Or is it a different one that I can't think of off the top of my head? There's like, what, one of 2 official Smash CDs? That and Smashing Live, the Club Nintendo one that they did for the Melee Orchestral Concert. I think the only 2 I can think of off the top of my head. You know, it would really be a shoo-in for the game that focuses so much on... Oh, it's an unofficial thing. Got it. That's kind of comprehensive. That's pretty cool. You know, surely it'll be a shoo-in for the series that makes such a big deal of composers and music and things to have more music releases, and yet, no, I don't think I'll do that. Unfortunately, it is now illegal to skip whenever there's a cool introduction remix or whatever. Oh yeah, I can imagine that works great with Sense Me channels. It's so great. The unfortunate thing with the custom coins, as you can see, is they don't have icons for some reason. I don't know why that is, if that's some sort of weird limitation or what have you, but I don't know. Just look at this stage. It's great. You've got a little front running beat as well. Oh, perfect. Oh, and you've got the boost charge noises. I forgot about that. See, I'm so used to hearing those noises that It just didn't even register to me. See, this one hits all the right notes, as you can guess. It's great. Level 3 drift? Oh, you know it. I mean, I could have put on some more custom characters and had like the Sonic mod that I had last week on standard Wii U. I could have put that on and we could have done that, and I could have got some kart mods or whatever, but like, I had enough of a hassle getting the Rob one working. And to be fair, most of them would have worked a bit better since they don't do like custom code injection and stuff, but I don't know. I was like, I'm pretty happy once I got this one done, and there's so many characters that we're not going to have a shortage of people to play as, you know? Shame you don't have items so you can have a long shot. I played this with items and don't remember it massively changing. I've got to go this way because I believe there is glider stuff and I've just not had to do it yet. Although it doesn't actually make a difference. I thought there was glider stuff. I think I've just gone the wrong way for it every time. Yes, I have. There it is. There you go. Oh wow, it's a whole different section down here. It seems like it's massively long-winded compared to going the way I was going, but hey, fun little detour when you don't have a worry in the world. I undershot that massively. What's more feeling, fellas? It just doesn't hit the same without an announcer. Come on, guys, build it into the track. Like, you know, just the music track or whatever. Just put it in there. It'll work fine. It doesn't matter if they don't actually make much sense. You can just make it up if you like. Yeah, there you go. What a cool track. I believe there is a way to glide to the end. Like, there's a separate path you can take. Probably goes over the couple of bits we missed. Yeah, there's a lot of tracks like that incorporate custom sounds and victory fanfares and stuff like that, so we got a lot to look forward to in that regard. Where do you learn to drive a farm? Clearly my racer has never been to a farm. I don't know what you mean, Your Honor. Right. I'm just gonna pick some random characters and go from there. So let's get him out of the way. Let's get Yoshi out of the way right now. And then we can play some different guys. Okay, here we go. On to what is basically all retros. Warrior slots that Mean Machine into first. I've forgotten so many of these because I just don't have him on when I play anymore, just because I've heard them all so many times, and yet clearly I need to keep hearing them. Look at the monkey. There he is. Doesn't feel like he fits in with any art style, yet I presume he's from the original and, you know, not made up by the track author. Feel like a weird thing to make up this like semi-realistic monkey in a world full of DKs. Or, you know, like similar looking to DK kind of characters, you know. I cut that way too fine there. Oh! That's kind of a cool gimmick. I've not played Mario Kart Arcade GPs very much. I've played DX enough. I don't massively like DX. I've kind of talked about it before, I think, a little bit. I don't know, just not enough of a kart racer for me, way too much of a random equals fun kind of thing, because, you know, every track's randomized, you can't pick. You can pick your character, but that's about it. Even items, you're given like a list of items you're allowed to use based on a wheel and things like that. It's garish and screaming. I've never played half the tracks for the stupid randomizer reason. It's like, I don't know many of these tracks, but I believe this is based on this, and the Wario one we played earlier based on one of the first two GP games. I can't remember. It never used to denote the difference between GP and GP2. Oh no, this is GPDX, I believe. Okay. That's what that said in the corner anyway. Yeah, I don't know, this is like my only experience with a lot of the tracks, to be honest. I don't really know many of them. I can't even think of the ones I have played on the real hardware, but whereas I've played a chunk of GP1 and 2 through Nintendo and over the years, but I couldn't name like half the tracks except for Mario Beach, which is the first one. Can't really remember many of the others. There's like a Pac-Man 1 or 2, and I think that is in here somewhere. We've got a lot of tracks to go before we presumably find it, so we'll get there. Trust me, we got loads of time to find these things out, right? Okay, so we're half an hour in on the third part, but that doesn't bode amazingly, to be honest. But there's 64 tracks, and I've been waffling a little bit between, so if I just make an attempt to get straight into the tracks, it might be a bit better. Imagine a Pac-Man level with the standard board, and you have to pick up so many pellets to complete a lap. I like the cut of your jib. That sounds really cool. I'd play that. Alright, Frappy Snowland. I actually did play this one earlier, just... for some reason, in MK8D Deluxe, your settings don't save. Unless you play a race. So I was like, I'll play this one. Pac-Man would be a good battle stage. Also, like you can see, I can change between soundtracks. Now I'm going to leave this on Frappy Snowland, because custom song versus like some random song the dev picked out or whatever. But at some point, like if we have any repeat, or I suspect we have any repeats of songs coming up, I'll swap over. I keep cutting that way too close, because I'm trying to look at chat at the same time. I listen to the sax on this. The sax is one of the best parts. Like I say, I can't remember who does the sax on this, but they go incredibly ham on the tracks they're on. Like, it's not Mario Kart 8 without a sax lick, and they knew that, so they made sure to get someone on, especially to play it live, rather than, you know, just like FL Studio, like trombone and stuff like that or whatever. Like, they did get someone in to do the brass. It's really cool. Made the front running beats actually fit really well. It's great. Oh, just such a good soundtrack. Oh. Goes insane. Looking forward to playing some of the new tracks that I've not played before here on the show, and also at some point on the VGM chip. Listen, look, they're freestyling. That's so much. It's great. And most of these games are like, oh, this is over like track slot for, I don't know, some other snowy stage, like Mount Wario or something, so it just plays the Mount Wario track. Like, this one's like, nah, we'll actually make sure to make a custom bespoke remix for it. Like, absolutely, like, inject it, please. Quickly. There's another ice level that's my favourite in the pack, in terms of music. The level itself isn't my favourite, quite far from it, but the music's such a standout. Like, it really pops because of the music. Unfortunately, you can't change the song mid-race, which was something I thought they advertised, so I tried to do it. Because, like mentioned, this is my first time playing the 2.0 update in particular. I tried to play the, like, 1.11, like, whatever the most recent version was beforehand, and it just wouldn't boot. I think something to do with, like, how I set my custom firmware for version 19 of the Switch or whatever. Like, the Switch firmware, version 19, I mean. But, I don't know, something about it just wasn't working quite right. So the game would never boot. And then after that, they released 2.0, and I hadn't had access to my Switch for a few months. So because of that, this is relatively fresh. I only played like a track or two that I'd already played. I didn't spoil myself on the new one. Oh, sorry, I see what you mean about the headlights. Jesus. He is ascended. I imagine the way they do it is similar to the soundscape level, where you're above the... I'm liking the sound of this more and more as time goes on. Let me tell you. I'm on the wrong account, I just realised, so I don't know whether all my notifications went out properly. Yeah, they did. Okay, cool. Now, this is a track I feel like should have been in the base game. There's a couple cases where I felt like that, and they're actually appearing in Mario Kart World, so that's like the perfect compromise, but I don't think this is one of them. Oh, this would have been a perfect opportunity to swap the song had I had the option, or maybe I didn't and just didn't see. Yeah, I really liked this track. This is really cool. Same with, is this one Peach Circuit or Mario Circuit? Like one of the two of them is really good in the base game. Oh, you know, this is the one I'm thinking of. This track's great. Yeah, so I'm on Peach's Castle, so Peach Circuit with track. It'd make much more sense than the one I'm thinking of, which is like, oh, I can't remember. It's like the, is it Daisy something? It's like the second one of the Mushroom Cup in that game. Can't recall off the top of my head. Base game 7 without, you know, like all of the custom track stuff is definitely not one of my favourites. Not one of the ones I spent a lot of time with. I should change it at some point, but I'm not afraid now. But yeah, this one's a really great track. wished we'd seen it in the base game. And well, this is one of the better looking tracks in the pack so far. This really feels like it could fit right. Like, it doesn't fit right in with the base game stuff, but it fits right in with the booster course pass stuff. So it works. It slots in quite nicely in that sense. Like, some look visually more impressive than booster course pass, some look worse. Like, that's just the state of custom tracks. Like, I'd rather the track drive well than it look like the most extremely pretty, given we're talking about individuals making things in their spare time versus, you know, multi-million-dollar companies, right? Yeah, no, this is driving nicely. Can't complain too much here at all. Although, yeah, definitely in this case, it's such a huge track, presumably to like encourage a lot of item usage and things like that, which, as you can see, we're just not partaking in. None of that, thank you, clearly. But it's saving me time. To be fair, so far they have given the multi-million-dollar company a run for their money. Indeed, like, there's only been a few where I'd say, like, oh, I could notice obvious lighting issues. Like, the Frappe Snowland in the original version, I remember, was quite rough, but it's had a couple patches since then that have been reflected in CTGP, because much like most packs that we've played of these custom tracks and stuff, these are all tracks that exist outside. They're not custom tailor-made for this. It's just a collection of them with permission from the devs or whatever. So, like, not everything's going to look the same and have, like, a cohesive style, but certainly, like, there's been a lot of quality control and what does get picked and things like that. But that's one of the ones I look at and I'm like, that looks like it could have, like, nothing about that screamed to me that that wasn't in Mario Kart 8, honestly. You know? Oh, speaking of which, Diddy Kong Racing time. Would have loved to have seen some of these. This is like a staple of, you know, like custom modded tracks and things, is porting in Diddy Kong Racing tracks. Like that and Crash Team Racing, which makes way less sense. But like, come on, get Diddy Kong Racing tracks out the vault already. Like, this is a perfect example. It works great in this game. Like, there's a load of them in, like, Mario Kart Wii and stuff, for example. That works really well there as well, for the same reason. Because unlike here, with their remix to be a bit more like Mario Kart 8 flavoured, they're just, for all intents and purposes, the Diddy Kong Racing versions. Combined with that, you know, you got the plane and the glider and stuff like that. Like, you can make some cool things out of these tracks with the gimmicks that Mario Kart 8 offers you. So, I'd like to see more of it. Oh, here comes the sax. You thought it was already sounding good. No. EKR would fit so well in WOD with its gimmicks. It really would. Like, I don't know what the right situation is, like, in regards to track design specifically. I would presume that probably resides maybe a bit more with Rare, because I don't think... You know, I think Nintendo owns, like, a good chunk of, like, the Diddy, Donkey Kong stuff, etc. from those games, but... You know, does it extend to level design and stuff like that, or would they have to get permission? How does that work? Maybe that is the reason we've never seen it. I don't know. I'm not a scholar in this instance. Yeah, very simple one, but works pretty well. Oh, that custom results theme remix as well. Beautiful. I believe that's new to 2.0. I don't think that was in the original. I think they made some custom victory screen stuff. You know, much like F-Zero in the base game has victory things. Or, you know, like a custom victory song and all the crossover tracks too. I believe they made some new ones to reflect that. Anyways, right, unless anyone has any requests, we're gonna continue with random characters. So, who did I not play as when we did the same thing in, or quite a lot of these characters I didn't play as when we did the same thing in DS, so who do I want to be? Who would I normally not be? I don't think I've maybe once when he came out and played as PT Piranha. Let's give him a bit of spotlight for that reason. Okay. Not all retro tracks, but a good chunk of them are, so let's see some more. I've now apparently got 7 billion. Oh, right, because I logged back into the... Yeah, okay. I changed over and checked all my Discord notifications. Let's go author's pick, why not? Because... Oh, wait, no, Cooper Beach is a new track. Oh, darn it. So this is just the normal Cooper Beach. I mean, the original Cooper Beach is a classic, but I forgot this had a custom remix. I thought this was already in the base game. Oopsies. Well, trust me, this is a good remix. This is one of my favourites in... is it one of my favourites in SNES? It's certainly one of my favourites in DS, despite being a retro track. The tune itself, I mean. Yeah, it's good in SNES as well. I don't know how highly it ranks for me, but it's great. Very simple track, hence the 5 laps, but that kind of synonymous with the actual original game. I think most Super Mario Kart tracks were 5 laps, just they got trimmed down to 3 for the most part when they came to later games. I don't know why when they have custom lap counts in the base game they couldn't give this like 5 laps, or you know, they couldn't give other SNES tracks 5 laps in MK8D Deluxe, for example. I don't know. This is a very short course, obviously, compared to something like the Mario Circuits, but even the Mario Circuits on a good race lasts like a minute and a half, so not really sure. Online reasons? I mean, potentially, but Baby Park gets 6. Like, Baby Park's obviously a bit smaller, like not that much smaller than this, for example. Yeah, I don't necessarily understand that decision fully myself. Like, give them 5 laps, why not? To a lot of people, these are really boring tracks because they're simple, no gimmicks, whatever, but like, I know people really like them from the pure racing perspective. I've come to appreciate them a lot more based on that. Like, you know, not often you get to just like have a race, like especially here as we've got items off and things. But you know, like no gimmicks, just like tires on the ground, kind of head-to-head sort of stuff. I can appreciate the Mario Circuit and stuff from that perspective a lot more nowadays. Maybe you need that for Max Baby Park Chaos. I guess true, but like, did you see that lasted like 2 minutes? Have you seen they're trying to relaunch Yooka-Laylee with Yuka Replayly? I have. I've generally seen positive things from people who've played it, from what I know. I'm guessing you've got to repurchase it and they don't honour the original purchase, because I've got it for like £1, so I'd be happy if it rolled forward, but I'm going to guess it won't, which is probably sensible, honestly, given how much it looks like they're doing. It's not out yet on Steam. No, they've demoed it at a lot of... this would have been a good track to do the author's pick stuff on. No, but I've seen them demo it at quite a lot of trade shows. I believe it was MCM in October, and I just didn't go and play it because I didn't want to wait in a queue for it. I had Victory Heat Rally there. I would have queued for that, but it was already out. I still not played it. I really need to do that. But there's a lot of things I need to do, and currently my priorities have mostly been with playing things I've meant to play for the last however many years on Switch 1. Case in point, playing Mario RPG right now, because a friend lent it out to me. I did admittedly cheekily ask, but I've been meaning to do it for ages, and it lights a bit of a fire under my arse if I have to give it back to someone because it's their possession, rather than just, oh, I bought it, I'll get to it eventually. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I intend to do new Pokemon Snap at some point as well for the same reason, although that game might be worth waiting on, considering it'll probably get an FPS buff on... Well, you know, not like an actual patch, but it'll probably just run a bit better on Switch 2. But I think there's that many issues with it, but like, it'll probably smooth out a little bit better. But yeah, I've just been like cleaning up miscellaneous stuff that I've always meant to actually do. And yeah, I had a ball with Mario RPG the last... I'm only like a couple hours in, started the day, but really itching to get back to some more of it when I have some more spare time tomorrow for sure. Then getting back to Mega Man, beat 2 and halfway through 3. Let me guess, did you stop when you got to Doc Robot stuff? It tends to be where most people go, I'll come back to this another day. I need to finish those games at some point. I'm just not very good at Mega Man. I've said this 1,007 times, so I've always been a little put off of just trying to sit there and actually finish them. Should probably like consider easy mode on the PS1 and /PS2 versions for that exact reason, just to like get my foot in the door and then work on getting better at them, but yeah, never actually got to that. As of right now anyway. That, I'm surprised. It's surprised I did not get hurt by that. Desert Hills. It was a really fun track in the S and Wii, so... Oh, no, I stopped when I died and didn't have enough rush jet energy to fly over a large gap as collected items don't respawn when you die. Ah, yes, Mega Man. That sounds about right. Is Desert Hills in the base game? I'm gonna guess not, based on the fact it says CTGP Deluxe, though. Okay, yeah. I made the right call this time. Yeah, unsurprisingly, the Nintendo tracks are the tracks that have equivalent songs in Mario Kart 8. Aren't going to have CTGP DX picks, because they don't... CTGP DX remixes, because what's the point? They already exist, so... It really is only going to be on tracks that already have a reason to have that remix to begin with, so at that point I have no reason to turn them on, but... Yeah. Kind of the one thing that's a shame is, I'm guessing they've just not cracked a way to do it, but you can't play the custom tracks through the in-game music player, probably because of how it loads them over base game tracks. That's what I'm presuming happens based on that water park thing from earlier. So because of that, they unfortunately don't show up in the music menu, which is a shame, because that'd be like a nice way to listen to this stuff. Made a save state so I wouldn't have to deal with that PS then die anyway. Oh, Mega Man. I think they mostly get a bit more pleasant from 3 onwards, if memory serves correctly. Like, is 3's charge shot, 4's... No. 3's slide, 4's charge shot, right? I think once you get charge shot in 4, from memory, just the difficulty goes down. I think... Is it 5 or 6? I think it's 5 that's generally considered to be really easy, right? I should probably also try that one for the same reason. Or it's really easy compared to the rest of them, which... You know, anything against Mega Man 1 is probably Babby mode. 3 is rushed. Oh, absolutely, because, you know, 1 was made with a load of company resources, then 2 was made in secret as a passion project by the devs, and then 3 was like, oh wait, no, this is actually successful. Let's just rush it out the door, and then they kind of continued doing that for the rest of the NES. But, like, 3 especially is rough in, like, a lot of regards, in, like, staff giving up and handing it over to different staff, like musically, I believe. The original composer had a baby, so halfway through left the project and handed it over to someone else. Like, half the music's different to the other... Well, not different, but done by a different composer to the other half. And I don't think the exact same situation applies, but certainly, like, similar ones apply to other parts of the game, I think. You know, in terms of, like, programming and things like that. I know there was a sort of like a code analysis video on it at one point as well that was really interesting along those lines of, you know, it was like someone else picking up someone else's engine, which made it a lot more difficult because the lead programmer changed between projects or whatever. Better in 2 in some ways, like weapon loadout and overall level design. Oh yeah, like it's generally a solid game. I know a lot of people who actually go, oh, unpopular opinion, but I prefer this to 2, but there are like some daft design decisions, you know. I've already kind of gone there a little bit with, you know, Doc Robot and all that. It's really unneeded padding for the most part, but I don't know. Weird old game, but it's got its fans, but I can also see why it's got its detractors as well. But I've not played it enough to form my own opinion. I just know other people's opinions because I really like Mega Man, so... Just watch everything from a distance and mainly just other people playing it and go, cool. Speaking of which, I need to make sure I, at some point, get the free comic book day comic, because everywhere I've gone, I've either forgot to look, been too early, or they've already sold out. I need to make sure I actually order that at some point, because I would really like to read the Udon series from the start, and actually not get behind like I do with everything. It would be nice to follow that from the beginning, and I know they're doing the Archie reprints as well, so likewise there's not actually that much Archie to read, so it'd be nice to just like burn through that in anticipation. It was a really fun track so far, by the way. I don't mind Doc Robot, I like having the opportunity to play stages that are designed around the weapons and rush form. Oh, for sure, it would just make more sense to have it be like a tiny bit more original, but I can also absolutely see the reason to need to recycle content in a dev environment like that. So, you know, beggars can't quite be choosers, I guess. In that regard, definitely. So I get it, for sure. So I have no idea what this song is from. If anyone has an idea, let me know. It's fun, though. It definitely fits this level very well. I'm not quite familiar. Maybe the theming is based on it as well, and I'm just not. It's Mario 3 remix, isn't it? But I can't quite remember where it's from. Yeah. I beat you to that by like a second on my end. 3D Land. See, I would have thought that, but it sounds a bit too jazzy for 3D Land. I'm gonna look this up once I finish him. Nothing comes up. It was called Sticker Star. Yes, when I search Sticker Star it comes up, but I search like Nintendo, Remix, etc. Nothing comes up. Okay, I love Google. What do you mean Google's gone downhill? I have no idea what you mean. Oh yeah, for some reason this is seemingly always going to be Cloud Top Cruise, I guess. Probably because of how the level loading works or whatever. Right, I've actually got a plan for this custom character. So, because this is a modded Switch, once again I'll show you, see, clearly not my actual Switch, I can't move my save file easily over, so I have to download someone else's save file. Luckily that has all the amiibo data on it, just like my one. But it's actually missing the Daisy costume, because this is pre-DLC. But luckily, it means I can use basically everything else. So, let's stay thematic. What do you mean Google is perfectly designed to make you do multiple searches and see what it has? Yeah, watch more ads. We're all doing that, right? Right? Surely? I know, that's a really good song. When I eventually get to Stickster, like I said, Mario RPG currently, and I probably will use the momentum and jump straight into Super Paper Mario finally when I'm done with that, maybe. It would be nice to have an excuse to play it. You wouldn't block ads, right? No? That doesn't sound like something I would do. Also, I'm pretty sure this has a remix, so this might be another one of the... This is the same song that's in Lakeside Park in 8 Deluxe, right? As in, obviously, you know, different versions of it, but you get the point. Honestly, hot take. If it is, this is kind of hitting a bit better than the Nintendo one. I'm pretty confident it's the same song. Because yeah, this came out before Wave 6. That's when CTGP Deluxe dropped, so there is a couple of... Oh, maybe it was before Wave 5, I'm trying to remember now. It was like... It was 2023 that I played it, that much I remember, but I don't remember when. Like June, July maybe, was when I played it, I think. No, it was 2024. Was it? I can't remember now. I was pretty sure it was before all the DLC came out. If it wasn't, it was just that they started making the tracks and remixes. Or something like that. See, I'm thinking about it now. I'm pretty sure it was 2024. It was last year. I'd have to look at my... backlog and see when I played it. I'm struggling to remember now. Okay. Thank God for brake drifting. Whoop, whoop. Very close. Also, this is only 2 laps, huh? This is a really cool track, though. Some turns may be a tiny bit too tight. But I also don't know how much they're basing it off of Super Circuit version as well, because I'm going to assume those ramps are a Super Circuit thing, because Super Circuit like had those weird bounce ramps. I can't remember if they were Rainbow Road only things, but they were definitely there, I remember them. loads of coins though, like maybe an excess of coins, honestly, not big. It doesn't matter because I'm not losing any of them unless I fall off, but like so many in a row just then. It's like maxing you out basically immediately. That should have hit me. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. That wouldn't have, but it was very close. So I do enjoy that the volcano made the game lag a tiny bit. Every now and then you get like some frame drops and stuff like that, and stutter. These are sometimes like, you know, you can't expect a Nintendo level of optimization on these things. They just do what works, that sort of thing, you know. I have actually overclocked the Switch in order to deal with that a little bit. I don't mind that so much on my like own playthroughs, but I was like, if I can overclock the Switch, I might as well just it's not actually even running hot at all. I'm really surprised. But yeah, I overclocked it to max settings just to like smooth out some of them. And even that apparently still lagged, which is kind of funny. Because it seemed to get most of the other things that I was messing about with just a test. Because I remembered a couple that lagged on my playthrough and it seemed to fix them for the most part. Oops. It's kind of slapping as a song, can't lie. I mean, I know this is just the original version, but I hadn't heard this before. Oh, I must have heard it when playing this last time, but I can't remember it at least. Nice little track as well, like very simple, but looks nice, drives very well. Like, nothing to really complain about, honestly. It's ticking the boxes. I didn't notice until now that Bowser's on the he's in the clown cruiser. Game enjoyed that one, clearly. I'm a little sad we're losing out on these Mii costumes going into World. Like, I get it, we were never gonna get the crossover ones back, but they were a nice touch. They were like a post-game thing, I'm pretty sure. Like, they were a post-release update. I can't remember when. Or at least certainly the crossover ones were. I don't remember the others. They would have had to... You know, Amiibo would have had to have been. What am I talking about? They came out after Mario Kart 8. Durr. I want to say it was the Nintendo ones first, then the later batch was the crossover ones, and then we had the huge batch with Wave 6, which was really nice just to get like a couple additional ones. Well, so far it's Banshee Boardwalk in track layout, but it's not hitting the right vibes for me in terms of the actual visuals of the track. Like, oh, was not expecting the guitar. Okay, but like, it's not nighttime enough. It's too bright. What is this? Like, different creative direction stuff, obviously, but like, pitch black, no Bubba / Big Fish. Like, where's the ambience? It's kind of gone a little bit. I appreciate like the purple lighting. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about this one. Not quite matching my idea of the vibes, you know. Oh, that's what I get for trying to be crafty. So we're what? Like, this is the 4th cup. We're an hour in, so this can't go for 4 hours, right? Surely. This is not indicative of the pace. It can't be. I refuse to believe it. Well, my desk stayed tidy for all of one day. That would be a new record for me, I think. Mine... I always have like some sort of project or thing I have on the go. Combine that with like needing any drink ever, and it's like, my desk gets very untidy very quickly. Especially when you have two switches on it that you keep switching back and forth between. It kind of tends to complicate the setup a little bit. Finally, so I need to hook the 8-bit dude charging stand back up. I don't use mine. I actually left mine elsewhere because when it's full charged, it still pings the charging light every now and then, which is really annoying to me. I was like, I'll just plug a USB cable in at that point and it will do the same job, basically, that Pro Controller charger was already doing. Stop getting fancy. Is that a certain Mario Kart on a Monday? It is, King. Welcome. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for dropping by. Bit of CTGP Deluxe. We were gonna stream this, weren't we, like a year or so ago, and I couldn't get it working. Oh no, it was in January, wasn't it? But I finally got it working. It took a lot of effort, but we're here. Went out to play football, so I'm dead. I didn't actually know you played football. How long's that been a thing? I beat 3 minutes. Barely. Yeah, and Janet just had errors. Yeah, I had the same errors when I came back to this, so I did like a full system wipe and got it working. Was it worth it for this stream? We're yet to find out. Creep Sea Cape. Halfway through rearranging the desk says that too. Oh yeah, that will make it. That'll make it a bit more cluttered as well. Play sometimes on Mondays, 5 or 7 aside. How do you feel? Which one's the more knackering? I'd immediately assume 5 aside, right? But I don't know. Maybe the 7 aside team just don't pull their weight the same, you know? I didn't see what the song is. This is chill. The multi-game cases for Switch and 3DS DS now, so those boxes are in storage. How many does your 3DS one hold? Because I'm always on the lookout for 3DS ones. Because mine only holds like between 15 and 20, and I always... 28! Could you possibly ping me a link for that if that's cool? That's actually way more than my current one does, I think. I've been looking for a new one. Because I have like a really big one for Switch currently, like 40-ish games, and there's a tier even bigger than that that's like 50 games, or 50 to 60 I think. I got 2, one for each system. Nice. But yeah, I have a really cool one for Switch, and I just wish someone would just slightly edit the dimensions and make it for 3DS and stuff, but I've never seen one. So I'm always on the lookout for like a slightly better one than the one I have, so... Yeah, that's cool. I'd absolutely be interested in looking into that at some point. A DS-style one would go hard. Oh, it would, because I've always had like various DS ones, but like they've never quite done the job I want them to. Like they work fine, but they never work like the exact way I want out of it. Like a game style size case, at least in terms of like the basic dimension of the box, but then, you know, way thicker just because it has more carts and like pages and stuff. But never quite had one that fits that style. DM, thank you. I'll have a look in a sec. Creep Blue Sea. I'm unfamiliar with your game, clearly, because that does not mean anything to me. Hey, mods. Who wins the race? Congrats, King. You won the race today. Free jam sandwich. Not on the house. No money for that, but treat yourself to one. I'd clicked off. It was faster than someone who, by the sounds of it, was tabbed into something else, so you win. I need to, like, set some word filters up on the screen. Like, filter the, like, basic letters of followers or whatever, just to stop that happening. Kind of a pain, but... I'd rather they advertise having a better life than bots. Look, this is how you achieve achieve the dream life. Ignore the mod status. Did I ever look into Seribot? I think I did. I just never got very far in it. Right. Unless King or Alari use some points. I meant King more so because he just got here. Alari, you're still free to use points whenever if there's anything that takes your fancy. Same with everyone. You can just do it multiple times a stream if you want. Unless anyone complains. The big man. Oh, I actually did 5. Okay, that's not as bad. Sure. I forgot they added more characters in the end. Yeah, the boosted course pass wasn't just a course pass. I always theorize that that happened later in development. I don't think they intended that to be the case ever, if you look at the first wave of tracks being really basic. I think that was something that was plonked on somewhere halfway through development, and I can't blame them for that. Now, Koopa Troopa Beach. First of all, what a stage. Maybe a little too bright here as a nitpick, but then again, Cheap Cheap Beach is about this bright as well, so I might just be over analysing it. But, oh, just like one of the all-time greats in terms of music, for sure. Like one of the Mario Kart 64 tracks I always think of the most. Can't play online? No, but you, as of the last update, can do wireless play. So you can at least use software that lets you, you know, play LAN over the internet, something like X-Link Kai. Which is nice. Apparently this is one of the more active games on X-Link Kai most of the time, which is really funny. Guess people want to play custom tracks online that badly. Take note, Nintendo. It won't happen. Still thought Nintendo Track Tool LAN. They do, but I think they found a way around it, or something like that if they re-enabled it. I'm not quite sure, but that was a very recent thing. They re-enabled it with the 2.0 update, which was after we were going to play this. We were going to play it when it was still on 1.0. It was only like March? Yeah, it was like February, March. I'm pretty sure March. When this got the big update to add. Oh, I remember because you. It was also when you were around. Because when the soundtrack dropped, I played it in the car, didn't I? Yeah, like this song's so good. In any form, it's just vibes. It's great. And it's a really fun track for that reason too. It's relatively carefree, like no matter where you play it. Mario Kart Maker would be so peak, so therefore I never expect it to happen. I'm somewhat kidding. But no, I don't know. I don't think it's massively in their interest to do something like that, but an official avenue for what you can see is clearly a lot of creativity from a community is always goes a long way, in my opinion. Well, don't get me wrong, it'd be way more basic than what you could do here, but as a concept, it'd just be fun. I mean, technically you can create your own Mario Kart track. It's called Mario Kart Live, actually. SMH. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this track in the original, so let's see if this can salvage it. Ring races. You're not wrong. Now, the music, on the other hand, listen to the guitar on this. Nah, Tony going ham. He said yes, Tony, on these tracks, by the way. I like the music here because nostalgia. That's perfectly fair. Yeah, I've never been huge on the track. I've always just felt it was a little too... See, it's weird. You look at the map and it's really basic, yet whenever I think of it in my head, I always think of it as just like really needlessly windy and fiddly. It's really not, looking at it, but like it's enough to where that's my lasting impression of it whenever I play 7. It's not even necessarily as bad in that regard as something like, say, Bowser Castle, for example, from that game is pretty like tight turns and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, this is just the one that stands out. But I'm playing it here, and I don't know whether it's because like drifting plays way differently and I can like hug walls tighter and things like that, but I'm actually quite liking it here, weirdly, despite what I've just said. So, devs do what Nintendo can't sometimes. Goes to show, I guess. Yeah, fan creativity sometimes, or just putting it in a different engine sometimes. Like salvages some things for some people and vice versa, you know, it's just a matter of personal opinion, I guess. Yeah, this plays super nicely with like a really tight controlling vehicle like this one. Once again, is why I'm sticking with it for like every character, because not only is it like the best combo, but it just controls really nicely. That's why I think people gravitate towards it versus, you know, something like the Wiggler was gravitated towards because it was really good. But then anyone who wasn't like ultra pro, super adjusted to it tried to play on it, and it's horrid. Whereas this is like a very basic, I can say play as this, and you'll go around all corners tight, and you know, have a relatively nice time driving on these tracks, you know. So I'll always side with this kart a little bit. You know, I love my Yoshi bike and all that, but sometimes with some characters that just doesn't play ball well. Whereas I know this combo I can put on everyone, and like it's gonna work like a dream. We're seeing Wario Land referenced over WarioWare. I know, it happens occasionally. They remember it exists, and it's really weird, and then they go, just kidding, JK lol. Just a little prank for you there, guys. We're not going to make a new one. Unless, I mean, they've done weirder things. Tomodachi Life and River of Heaven are back. Admittedly, they've been away for less time than Wario Land has been, but still, that still felt like they were a series drowning a little bit, so interesting to see the turnaround there, I guess. Alright, just checking some notifications real quick. Let's see. That one was nothing important. If we go up to here, then Aluri's. Okay, so this is somewhat similar to the one I have. I think it just has more pages looking at it, so yeah, that's not bad. Having one for each console works. I could see a Wario Land Shake Dimension port during a quiet spell. Imagine, though. Unfortunately, I think Goodfeel's the Goodfeel quota's been hit for the moment, given that for some reason in the Switch 2 Direct they just quietly showed off that Woolly World's coming to Switch Switch 2 for some reason. So I get the feeling Wario Land's got pushed down a little bit, but man, that game in HD would just just thinking about it, beautiful. There we go, finally finished with my now room temperature drink. The temperature in question being 25.5 degrees. So, I can't remember which one, but I'm pretty sure this is Paper Mario from memory? Hate summer? Join the club. I like spring. Spring's like the happy medium, but spring just didn't exist in the same way as most years this year. Wait, no, it's Mario and Luigi. I'm getting confused, right? Got my RPGs confused. Spring and autumn are the happy mediums of both. Unfortunately, autumn exists for like a month, and sometimes spring either exists for 3 or just doesn't exist at all. This was the didn't exist part. Like, until autumn, it was still like until like April, sorry. Even throughout April, it was still sub 10 degrees. And then suddenly one day, it was like 25, like end of April. And I was like, oh, okay, we just didn't get summer this year. Oh, sorry, we just didn't get spring this year. It just didn't happen. Let's save it for next year. But yeah, autumn tends to like do a little bit better in that regard. Like, at least end of September to mid to end of November, you effectively will guaranteed get autumn. Like, it won't, you know, it's not an issue of autumn's too cold, but it's an issue of spring's too cold or too warm, you know? It's like, no one complains about a cold or warm autumn for the most part. Autumn should autumn in it, so it's like, you're pretty much guaranteed to get it every year, unlike, say, a relatively normal spring in comparison. Yeah, it was miserable in both, like, extremes of the world. It was really weird this year. Don't know why that slide was so extreme. Oh yeah, no gardening in autumn, instant win. Like, stuff doesn't grow, so like, you don't have to pay someone to cut the grass, for example. Yes. For 6 months of the year, it's great, and then for those other 6 months, it's like, once a month at minimum, you know? Ugh. It sucks. We'll be doing that though, so not really much we can do but suffer at the whim of it. Like, summer's not too bad. Like, for the next week, for example, it's meant to be relatively cool, like, highest 20, whereas today was 25 to 26. So, like, inherently, there's, like, a huge difference in temperature there, so I don't mind that too much. Same in spring, though, as you don't cut the hedges when birds are nesting, and hedges are my job. God, I would never want to do hedges, so... All the power to you. Right, here we go. Best song in the whole damn pack. Track? Not as much, it's okay. Song though. Oh my god. Get ready. Hope this is like semi-loud enough to be able to hear this. And just drive straight into the wall. That's part of the reason I'm not huge on this stage. Some of the corners are a little bit too tight. Or, like, blind, I guess. Oh, so good. Sometimes you just gotta appreciate the good stuff, you know. See, that's a little bit there. We need this in December. I played it this December, actually. It was on this year's Winterfest VGM show, or the one just gone by. I did it for that exact reason, and I was like, I'll play it on the CTGP episode, and then it'll be 6 months and people have forgotten it, so I can play it again. Oh, it's beautiful. Like, I will sing the praises for this one from the rooftops. Like, this is the standout track of the pack for sure, in that regard. So some of these turns here are like a little extreme, but I'm guessing they're like that in Diddy Kong Racing, so can't hugely blame the author. But I'm only knowing where I'm going because I played this track earlier as one of my test tracks, because they've definitely improved this one as well. I remember this one having like a lot of like Z fighting and graphical like bugs and stuff, so this looks much better than it did. So, you know, always improving these tracks, both the devs of CTGP and the devs of the track themselves. So, like, huge props to everyone who's putting in all the work on this stuff. This is going in my inevitable Christmas playlist. Put the entire thing, like, you said you just got your Walkman sorted. Go to coachu.bandcamp.com. You get these tracks on there, absolutely free. There you go, some Walkman enjoyment right there for you for work commutes and stuff for the next week. I'm gonna do it. It's worth every penny, of which there are 0 pennies. You can just give them if you like on Bandcamp Fridays and stuff. How's life back home anyway? Those free meals. Not going too bad. It's been nice to be back for sure. And we're back with the Diddy Kong Racing themes and stuff as well. There we go, back to Cloud Top Cruise. Worth every download. Oh, you know it. Okay, back through. Stick with the Fat Man theme, I guess. Where is he? There he is. I need to still grab the official Mario Kart OST, like I said a while back. Even if you wanted to grab them like through official means, I think the 8, I could be wrong, I think the 8 one's not that bad. Lucky to already have it, because got it through, I didn't get it, but it was purchased through Club Nintendo back in the day through the transaction of points. Would have been like tail end of Club Nintendo as well, thinking about it. Cuba Beach 2. Now this is one where I can actually listen to the original, to the CTGP version of the song, thankfully. So I was saved. Yeah, I know the Japan-only Club Nintendo ones are a little rough to pick up, because I've checked them out before. And even then, they're still missing stuff, like, I think the battle courses are on the Wii one, but, like, weird specific stuff, like Galaxy Coliseum and the Mario Kart channel and stuff isn't on there. I'm like, I love Galaxy Coliseum's theme, that's a great one, why is it not on there? It's like 2 extra tracks, you could have squeezed them on the disc. Oh, they've like brought the tempo down for this version. I'm enjoying this. It's super chill. Like, it's already a chill track anyway, but like, goodness, we're really vibing out here. I've got a lot of parting stuff to add. Mario Kart Series this, TSR Ring Race. Has there ever been a good Ring Racers soundtrack release? Like, did they do one officially? Because I always hate when they're like, look, we got some really cool people to do our soundtracks. Are you going to release it officially? And it's like, maybe. I remember prodding the devs of Triple Trouble being like, why is there no download release for this? And they were like, oh, I'll send you one and then we'll do one. And then it took like another 8 months for them to release the soundtrack properly, so I had to use YouTube rips for the entire episode. It's like, man, you made such a big deal out of how cool the soundtrack is before release on this. Like, why didn't you just upload it properly? Yeah, but that was also ages after release, Larry. The original YouTube uploads were unofficial. That was still like a good few weeks after it came out. I remember when I did the show on that, having to rely on a random person's versions from YouTube, so therefore they kind of sounded crummy when you take them up, when you like video download them or whatever and all that. But yeah, I asked them directly and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll send it over to you within the week. Oh, ring races, yes. Can we stop doing that? Like, just if you put them on YouTube and MP3 of them exist, put. Anyway, speaking of Sonic, speaking of ring racing, so you could tag a game, I guess, yeah. And not that I'd have that much of a use for it unless I randomly did an episode on it one day, which I'm not in a rush to do. I'd do Sonic and the Moon Facility before then, which I keep putting off actually playing and finding the soundtrack for that reason. Moon Facility's another one, like, it's an unreleased game, so fair enough, I guess, but they were like, oh yeah, we'll get the soundtrack out, and I still don't think I've seen an official upload of it yet. Like, they were saying they were going to get it day one. I even gave the OST a name, Sealed Sounds. Then why is it sealed on YouTube? Unseal it. Put it put it on MP3. Put it on the website. You can do it. I believe in you guys. You're capable of putting it somewhere where it doesn't sound like absolute shit. SRB2 has flags. That it does. I deleted actually. I deleted my RS folder very recently to re-upload it, so I probably lost it. I had a official soundtrack release of SRB2 circa like 2017 in my folder for ages, so I was aware of that one. But yeah, a load of SRB2 music's changed since then, because that was pre whatever the huge update number that I always forget is, that everyone said was never going to happen and then actually did happen. Not very good at my MISCs, my mushroom intended shortcuts today. 2.2, that's the new update, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty 2.2, which changed a lot of music, so it was probably very outdated, but I did have one at least for a while. I do collect stuff like that on the chance that I ever do a show on it. Like, as I say, I did Fallen Star, so the intention was always to do Moon Facility when that came out, but obviously it didn't. There's still a build out there, which maybe I'll stream one day just as an excuse to actually play through it. Because I know you have to like do some level select shenanigans with later levels to actually, like, there's no goalpost or whatever and stuff like that. Like, I almost kind of wish someone would release a guide like, hey, this level's playable, you need to do this level or whatever. Like, kind of nice if someone did that for that reason. Because otherwise it'd be a bit weird going into a playthrough of it and not knowing what I can and can't play. Like, oh, this is only through the level select or whatever. Like, I didn't know that, I ended stream. Yeah, just for the reason of it had it wasn't finished, but it had a very fully formed soundtrack compared to the game itself. And it's a fun episode for the future, I guess. I don't really think of much else exciting in terms of band games. Maybe one day in the future, Moon Facility can be returned to. If it would be, I don't think it'd be Star Drop. From what I recall, she said she was kind of done with fan games and was moving into more actual development. I don't know whether that was like doing a Lake Fepard and going indie, or just like working in an actual company where that sort of thing would be frowned on, or like what that kind of meant. But I think the impression was everyone had disagreements in the team anyway, so it already wasn't shaping up, and that kind of was like, yeah, okay, I'm kind of done with fan game development, so it would have to be someone else, or, you know, I'll just come back to it for a passion project one day or whatever. Like, I don't know, but I know they were going to release the source code to Fallen Star so that it could be ported to more things, and that never happened, and that's kind of a shame, because I would have loved that to have been on multiple platforms. Someday I'll do Time Twisted, I guess, because I meant to do that when that came out, because I'm pretty sure the composer, I remember how they identified at the time, I don't remember how they identify now, and it's a little complicated off the top of my head. So I don't know what the best way to refer to them is. as these thing floods. But they sent it to me at the time, so I had that. Whatchamacallit? I had that to play, and I didn't ever finish. I don't even think I played beyond like the first level of the game in order to do it, which was really dumb. Could have done that considering I had like good advanced access to the soundtrack release, but this is a 2017 Viper. 2017 Viper didn't always do things the way they were smart and should have been done. Oh, free attention for a new fan game. No, I won't take that. Don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily smart, but you know, if something new and someone's given you access to it, you might as well take advantage of it all the same. You know, they did it for a reason, presumably, right? I'm guessing. I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't advanced. At least it wasn't in advance of the game. I think it was just before it went to, like, general download. Like, the game was already out or whatever or something. It was indie, definitely a dev to keep an eye on. Oh, what's that game that was at Sage very recently that was like a free run across Sonic kind of thing in an open field? That looked really cool. I did mean to actually buy that because it's relatively cheap. I know people have been really enjoying that, so for the same reason I should check that out, even if it only ends up being a VGM true instead or whatever. Presumably it would be a VGM true. There'd be no reason to do it on RS. Haste, yes, that's the one, thank you. Haste looked really fun. I know it had a free demo and I installed it and proceeded to not play it. It was at Next Fest, wasn't it, I think? Yeah, speaking of Next Fest, I wonder when House of the Dead 2 Remix are actually coming out, or if they... What's going on with it? Like, we already know it's shit, just release it. You like that grass? What, touching grass? Hell yeah. God, it's so warm in here. So guessing we're about approaching 32 tracks sometime kind of soon, so that's like halfway, and we're an hour and 31 in, so yeah, 3 hours feels about right for something like this. Is that the... No, there's still one or two more if this isn't enough. Oh, I'm only on number 1. Okay, we'll turn it up then. Forgot this thing wasn't at the highest setting. Now it's Secret Island. Okay, one more. I remember this one being somewhat fun. Can't really remember too much about it though, so a little difficult to say for definite. That's why I remembered this, yes. I was like, I remember the music on this one for some reason, but I can't remember why. Right, because it's Mario and Sonic. That track. This version's super good, by the way. I mean, I don't have to explain that, because Mario and Sonic Rio is like a renowned godly soundtrack, but just listen to it. Those are more OSTs I need. They're all generally pretty good. I mean, the first one's relatively unmemorable, but I've got some nostalgic value in it. But, London's... I can't remember any of London, but the Dream Event stuff. Sochi, roughly the same. Obviously, the original Winter Olympics I'll go to bats for in many regards, and the soundtrack's really good in the general event, so that is also one of them. Tokyo for the same reason, but like, I don't know. Purely for the coolness factor of they actually went and worked with street musicians in Rio, like that's just inherently going to make Rio 2016 a really neat soundtrack, to me at least. Like, it really shows, like, everything's got a really nice flair. I mean, Tokyo kind of has the same, but it's inherently less interesting with it already being based out of Tokyo anyway. You know, a lot of the soundtracks, so you know, the use of like more Asian/Japanese instruments isn't as interesting as like you know, some really cool drums in this, or can't think of any other examples off the top of my head. Yeah, no, Rio's is really fun, so of course, as with most Mario and Sonics, they never released it anywhere. So how would you do that? It's difficult to license, so why bother? Yeah, I was honestly kind of thinking the same thing, because it's not. It's Sega's Sound Team. It's published by Sega. Like, Actually, the Wii U ones were published by Nintendo in most places, if I remember correctly. I think it was the Wii ones that were mostly published by Sega. Oh, and 2020 as well. But I know certainly here in Europe, I'm picturing it in my head, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo published at least 2014, if not 2016. So it doesn't make much sense to me. Anyway, I'll go King Boo. Why not? King Boo is always a vibe to me. Okay, there's probably going to be some short ones. Thankfully. He says an hour and a half into the stream, and potentially not being halfway yet. Luigi Circuit's one I'm very surprised by. There was so much Mario Kart Wii nostalgia bait in the Booster Course Pass. I really thought this one was a shoo-in. I've got to say... Oh yeah, here you go. This is the one that's the crossover Night Block at least. Yeah, I gotta say, this one's not really feeling much like Luigi Circuit as of right now. Like, this end bit maybe, but the surrounding areas don't really feel like anything like Luigi Circuit, and the track's tiny as well. Oh, that's a fine track, it's just not quite hitting the note to me. Hey, this remix though, once again, the sax. Awesome. Yeah, this is like one of the couple of collab tracks. I believe for that reason it's not on the OST, but is instead on Noteblock's channel. Could be wrong. There's another one in this cup, but I think the remix predates CTGP, so that's the reason it's not on the soundtrack. But it is technically an original song. Technically, because it's made for the track in question. Oh. Why is this 5 laps? I mean, I know it's a short cut. I guess it's because it's that much smaller than the original, but still, why is this 5 laps? Just scale it up a little bit. Yeah, this really is, like, ultra scaled down. I don't know why. What a remix. I'm rediscovering some of these all over again that I'd just completely forgotten about. And as I say, not on the soundtrack, so very easy to forget by accident. Yeah. I mean, 2 minutes for 5 laps is... How? I don't quite know how, but how? I'm sure there are going to be YouTube playlists with everything. I haven't thought of that, but you're probably right. So I'm going to assume this works kind of like how the remix tracks work in Retro Rewind. So, like, it's the same concept, but goes in a different direction, kind of like how the Booster Course Pass tracks completely redesign the tracks. Like, that, but a bit less extreme, I'm going to presume. Like, if you remember that Rainbow Road with Mushrooms one we played, for example, probably like that. Minus the mushrooms. And the Choco Islands are not for me. The SNES Choco Island. I mean, they're only on SNES. I'm confusing it with Choco Mountain. Like, I don't know, something about the mud, the combo of the mud and the jumps everywhere just don't make them that fun to play. So once again, this track's got the potential to do some redeeming here. So we shall see. Good track though. Music track. I always do this every time we play Mario Kart. I say good track and I go, oh right, we're playing a game with with cars. I have to specify. At least this game has tricks that inherently makes the ramps more enjoyable. You know, like the little mini ones that I was hopping over there. At least that's inherently more enjoyable than I can only recall this track having appeared in SNES and these tracks, sorry, having appeared in SNES and DS. Both games that don't have a trick system, so it's just hit these equals free time loss, basically. So at least the tricks can kind of mitigate that, and therefore feel like a useful part of the track design rather than just being irritating for no reason. Man, this fast lap version is really nice. Like, I'm used to the fast laps just kind of being same song, no difference. Like, I'm sure it is, but it feels like it adds a lot to the track just with the slightly faster tempo. I overshot that massively. Yeah, this is pretty fun. I mean, it's a remix, so it's not trying to be too much like the original track. It's definitely taken some liberties, even minus that. The most obvious one is probably the glider thing, but even then, I'm sure there's like some drastic design changes as well to the actual layout. It was really fun. Once again, another gold star for kind of redeeming a track I didn't like that much to begin with, so A+. Now, Boshi Skate Park, I know this one because this is a Mario Kart Wii track, and it's Mario Kart Wii Custom, and it's one that gets regularly picked on that game's CTGP. Oh, sorry. So I'm kind of familiar with it as a result. Okay, CTGP DX. Oh, is this going to use, is this track using the funky stadium theme? Is that why this got added? Yes! Oh my god, this remix is so good. The original track's great, like another underrated one from Wii for sure, but... oh. I mean, it already had a really good sax in Wii anyway, a game that didn't really do that sort of thing, so just like underline it a little bit more. And it's going great. I'm enjoying it. That was kind of close. I've even got the samples in here as well, god damn. Hey, potentially gonna have to get used to playing as Boshi since he seems to be the replacement for Black Yoshi, unless I find another character I desperately want to play as more. He'll probably default back to Luigi, honestly. I mean, Luigi was like my choice in most Mario Kart games before this, so I'll probably default back to Luigi. I only have a game I play Yoshi is Mario Kart 64, where for some reason 3 characters are just on paper better. Like, yeah, no, it's not fair. There's no other ways that the other characters balance out. Just Yoshi, Peach, and Toad are just inherently the best characters, and no one else can really do anything about it. We love balancing in retro games. But, yeah, it's kind of a shame, but I played Yoshi in that because of that. It's like the only other one. Everything else I kind of just tended to default to Luigi before this game added Black Yoshi, so probably just go straight back to that. Especially since there'll probably be some cool costumes for him as well, I guess. Either that or like some new character that I've not paid much attention to yet might steal the spotlight for me. Yeah, pretty fun track. Like, it's very basic, but Funky Stadium fits it very well, given that it actually the decor of it and everything kind of reminds me a lot of it. So, fun track. Okay, and one more, and one I'm sure continue to look forward to having seen it exists. Yeah, Windmill Isle. Look at this. Gonna be honest, a little bit of a pig to drive. I did go back to this one because I remembered this one lagging. So yeah, the overclock seems to have mostly fixed that, which is really nice. Now, this is the other track I was referring to. Yeah, the track author themselves made the remix for the track. That's really nice. I'd like to see more stuff like that more often if people are multi-talented in that regard. Like, that's a really cool little touch. Like I say, I don't think it was made for CTGP specifically, which is why it doesn't appear on it, but it is on YouTube. It's available to listen to on the author's channel. Stuff like that is why this track's a bit of a pain to drive. The glider there tries to automate you towards the end of that section. You just kind of sometimes fall in a weird way. This too, like, this is taken verbatim basically from the original game, but you kind of need to know to go left or right for that reason. I didn't know that the first lap or two that I was playing this while testing, so I kind of just crashed into a wall and got lost. Once you played it like once or twice, you get used to it. You know, little bits and pieces from both Wii and from HD, so really cool track combined with a nice remix. I enjoyed this one a lot. Mostly on, weird Sonic fan value. I don't know how much it holds up as a track otherwise, but I like it. It tickles the right, you know, nostalgia bone for me, and that's what counts. So it pushes all the right buttons. I'm happy, okay? Even if it's not the, you know, the most solid of things. Once again, there you can see it just locked my glider after a certain point. So if I was just inherently already facing the wrong way, then tough luck. I'm tangent, but I've been just seeing that Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit is now on. Yes, I did see that. I should play Triple Trouble 16-bit again at some point. Like, I know I went back to Fallen Star, so you can do the same for Triple Trouble, because I like that a lot. And the Knuckles route was like a surprisingly fun diversion, given that I played it back-to-back with the Sonic route. It felt different enough to justify its existence. Like 3 Knuckles is much more than like Sonic Mania or Superstars, you know? But yeah, I think that's been a thing for a few months. I do have it downloaded, so at some point I'll maybe give it a go on there. I've mostly been messing with Sonic 2 Absolute and Sonic 1 Forever, surprisingly, given it's me, and I normally complain about the setup of those sorts of things with the decomps, but yeah, I've been enjoying that where I've played it for the most part. My SP needs updating. Mine is the last version behind, because every time they're like, you're not going to have to re-image the OS, and then every time you have to re-image the OS and I have to copy back over all my files and I inevitably lose some sort of save file that I was working on or something, and I go, ugh, I'm not going to do it again for like another 5 months or whatever, and then I don't. That's normally what happens. So we're currently getting towards the end of that cycle. I updated it recently and don't feel like doing it again. As long as Portmaster works, it's fine. Yeah, I'm no longer defaulting to calling it the SP8, yep. They sure did do that, didn't they? Okay, my stuff is now unlocked on Arky, so I can do that once we're finished, presumably at like 12 o'clock at this point. Oof. Yeah, I wish I hadn't started as late as I did today, but kind of unavoidable, unfortunately. Monday night shopping night, and there was a bigger one tonight. Oh, that's the wrong button. Okay, versus, why not? How's the Junior? It's got sticks now, because the Mayu flipped it. They won't be comfortable. Yeah, I felt like most of the time, just stick them on. If it works, it works. Right, so we are actually now halfway. Right? Yes, we've done 32 out of 64. Oh god, Sky High Cathedral. I remember why I remember this now. Because it's here. Right here. It was... What's the situation with this one? This was an interesting one last time we played this in 7 or whatever it was. But hey, Pokemon music. So, also, by the way, Pokemon music can get Game Freak listed, so why can't Mario and Sonic have Sega listed? It clearly works. Also, weird old pews. Alrighty though, like a much more complex track than I remember that version being, so... It's interesting. I mean, unsurprisingly, way more complex console, but I would have thought it would have been made there first then ported here, so... Surprised by like how many differences I'm seeing. So spring? Why are the trees springtime? Yeah, for sure, like, everyone's just cramming sticks on those handhelds, like, and I guess it makes sense, because there are some, you know, they advertise them to be able to play N64 and Dreamcast, as to how true that is, and PSP as well. As how true that is entirely up to your own, you know, mental gymnastics, bargaining, etc., but they do have those, so they should probably have joysticks to work with them, in a sense, if they're going to advertise it, I guess. It's not what I use them for at all, but for some people that will like sell them on the thing, so I guess that's why they're going with it. Which once again, like I say, makes sense if that's the justification we're using. See, the custom characters can now do route changes, like boost the course path. Oh, custom tracks can do route changes, like boost the course path. When was that a thing? I didn't know that actually. That's really cool. That's been like a big thing for ages. Like that was one of my favourite Mario Kart Wii custom tracks, which has aged like milk in the eyes of a lot of people, but way less than a lot from the time. Incendia Castle, that was the big thing of that track back in like 2009, 2010, was that it had alternate routes. every track changed the route. That was a really cool thing it did. So it's always been a thing. So Nintendo, as usual, going, that's interesting. Let's work with that, like 24 player from the exact same person, you know? Definitely side-eyed that one, and people will say, no, they didn't, it's Nintendo, they came up with it on their own. It's like, probably did. 10 months ago. Oh, no, I'd completely missed that. I hope we see some cool uses of that in CTGP 3.0, like next year or whatever. You know, it was a 1 year turnaround time on the big track update for this one. You know, quote unquote only adds 8 tracks, but 8 pretty polished tracks, I'm going to presume, so probably worth the wait instead of just cramming stuff in when you see it on Game Banana and go, I should add that to my pack, like a lot of similar things do. It would save so much time if I didn't have to do this, but it doesn't work for whatever reason. It's a little sad. Yeah, so my logical assumption is, I don't know. Presumably how it works is kind of similar to how Mario Kart Wii does it, but Mario Kart Wii has code to check for that sort of thing. Which is, instead of making a custom track ID, maybe there's just none of those available or they can't figure out how to create them, it loads over another track's ID. So presumably whatever I played, like what the Taiko stage that I played first was treated internally as Mario Kart Stadium. So instead it's like, hey, I'm Mario Kart Stadium, and as you know, since this is the Mushroom Cup, the next track should be Water Park or whatever. Okay, that's really strong actually. That yeah, look at that. That's really strong rain. Not rain, water. But you know, hey, I'm the Mushroom Cup, the next track should be that. But there's no code that intervenes and goes, hey, no, actually, make the next one this, because I'm, you know, a mod pack or whatever. Which most of these would do, but I'm guessing it's just something that no one thought about, or they haven't quite figured out a way to do it yet. You know, it's not something like, I don't remember. I think Mario Kart DS treats them as custom, or as completely new slots in Nitro. That's presumably why that worked, and this doesn't. I'm pretty sure that's how it treats it, unlike something like Wii, where, oh, this track goes over Moo Moo Meadows, so load Moo Moo Meadows, but actually psych at the last minute, load all my assets instead from the SD card. That's how I believe it works there, but they must have found some sort of custom code to overwrite that. Whereas here, you know, probably not a priority, so didn't bother. Don't want that type of atmosphere in a mod pack. Yeah, you don't want to, you know, fuse too many of these things together, you know. Let's just say some cool things are on the horizon, if you will. This is a really fun track for the most part. Having a good time here. Bowser Jr. is just fun as well. He was, back in the day, always one of the characters I used on Mario Kart Wii a lot. One of the medium weights, that is. Bowser Jr. is just fun. I just think he's neat. Can't remember where we're going after this. Bowser's Castle, okay. But then, I remember DK Jungle Parkway, and it might trigger a memory for anyone who listened to that VGM tour as well. If not, you're in for a surprise. Because I don't really like DK Jungle Parkway that much as a track. I think I've said that in one of these streams before, in the last couple of weeks, but I don't know, always never vibed with it too much personally. Mainly like the slip slidey controls and the kind of simple level design and stuff like that. Not always been for me, but there's something memorable about it in this pack, I don't know. Can't quite put my finger on it. Forget to ask how big is the actual download for this. I want to say it's around 4 gig, which considering the actual Mario Kart 8 is somewhere similar, I think that's before DLC. Not too shabby. Yeah, pretty average, exactly. I think it's like pretty similar for HDR, the Smash mod as well. But that doesn't add like as many custom stages and things like that, but I think it's just got a lot of stuff to deal with, presumably. You know, it's surprisingly good for something like this, I think. Oh yeah, the full download is pretty big for sure, so it's... How big is it? You might need to look that up for me. I was under the impression that it wasn't as big as that, but could be wrong. Really? No, there's no way. There's no way it's 18 gig. Because I'm pretty sure my biggest Switch game for ages was Bayonetta, and that's like 8. I think nowadays it'd probably be something like Fortnite or some live service with billions of assets, of course, but back then I remember that being huge, like compared to the rest of my Switch library. Rocket League used to be quite small. I remember that being like 8 gig when that launched on Switch and being like, whoa, that's a big download. And yeah, then Rocket League nowadays is like 40 gig or something. Bayo 3 or that digital only game. I mean the first one. I mean the very first Bayonetta when that came out, because that was download only on Switch for years. That was like 8 gig. I remember that feeling like a storage premium at the time. I don't remember when I would have got my first SD card for Switch. I don't think I got one with the console. Maybe I just repurposed some random one I had lying around for it at first before I got a dedicated one. You know, like a proper Extreme SanDisk or whatever, whichever ones are like the recommended ones for these. Now I got to do it all over again. Back down to 256 gig I go. Alright, here we go. I'm hearing rumours they're coming in on the other line. The DK Jungle Parkway is massive. Not quite sure why. Not sure what that's all about. I love how dumb this is. From what I recall, when I read like the liner notes or whatever equivalent, Kochi was like, I have no idea how you make this song sound MK8D Deluxe traditionally. Like, it doesn't lend itself to jazz or anything, so what do I do with it? And then I think the decision was made, it would just be funny if you made DK Jungle Parkway jungle. So, it's why this track's the way it is, and I know people weren't huge on this when it came out, but I kind of like it just for the sheer dumbness of it. It's great. How long's the speedrun on this then? Honestly have no idea, but we're shaping up for like 3-ish hours currently at the pace we're going. This is track 36 of 64, I think. It's going for a bit longer than I anticipated, honestly, but what can you do? It's like, if you obviously it's a bit compressed in game, but if you listen to this, there's like some proper bass on this as well. Oh, sorry, treble more so, I mean. Of course there's bass on this, but not flame hop either, so no speed advantage. No, that's why we have items off, which is a little bit disadvantageous in terms of, you know, no mushrooms and things like that. So I probably could have set something equivalent to like basic items, I think it's called on Mario Kart Wii, where it's like mushrooms and shells only, basically. And bananas as well, I think. But yeah, I chose no items just because I think that's the default category for like Mario Kart 8 speedruns, just for the reason of, yeah, you get no mushrooms, but also get no shells, which this game's really heavy on shells. If you're playing versus races against the CPU generally, it's like 2 to 3 shells a race in terms of blue, and that's before even like reds and stuff. I mean, I'm in pole position, so you're nearly there with the pole. But hey, this track's surprisingly fine on here. I think it's because they got rid of the stupid mud physics that like half the versions of this track have. That and the glider actually works on like the Mario Kart 7 version. Yeah, the song indicator's great. Like, just knowing where these tracks are from, and sometimes, you know, like who remixed them and stuff like that is really useful. That and the track author credits before the race begins as well. That's a really nice touch. You know, actually give credits within the game, because that's a very recent thing. Like stuff like CTGP are the original, like the OG, the GOAT, quote unquote. Didn't do that until like last year. Everyone else did it before. It's like a thing, you know, unsurprisingly a bigger push to credit individual people who made stuff. Not that I think that was ever the intention to strip people of it. I think it was just never either thought about or coded in, basically. Yeah. I love the touches like that in this for that reason. It's like, I want to know who made the music, so... Or if I don't know the track, because it's not always as simple as, you know, this is Mario Circuit, this is Mario Circuit, or whatever. It's nice to be able to know. Like when there's a random Xenoblade song, I go, oh, I never would have guessed this was Xenoblade. Alright, wiggle of time. Alright, I don't remember really many of these, so we're going to be finding out together. Oh, I remember this one, because this one drives... Sorry to the author, but this drives like absolute shit, I remember. Like, it's really not much fun, honestly, sorry. Unless they fixed it. There is a good chance they fixed it between now and then, but like... Yeah, I remember that happening a lot. I mean, I think it's very heavily based on, presumably, some version of a Splatoon map, so that's why there's like really sharp corners and things like that, but I just remember this being more of a pain than it was fun. I mean, beta music as well, like, fair respect to him, using something that will incur the wrath of Nintendo, I guess. Also, you change between anti-grav and wheels, like, in really random places for seemingly no reason. Yeah, you might be getting a vibe as to why I don't enjoy driving this very much, just looking at these first couple laps. Like, I'm utilizing brake drifting heavily, and yet still kind of struggling. Like I say, just like, you seem to go back and forth between normal wheels and anti-grav loads for no reason. No coins. Yeah, there isn't, is there? Where did I get those two that I have? Or did they just start? Or did I just start with them and forget about it? Most races. Yeah, I don't know. Well, this one's definitely here to fill a number, but I like it conceptually. Just, you know, it needs a little more for sure. You can see the CPUs are just flat out not having a good time with it either. Like, they're not generally... I'm outrunning them massively because no items does help with that sort of thing, but like, you can just see they're they're having a bit of a dog's dinner of it. For sure. Yeah, no coins as well. I hadn't even noticed that until you pointed that out. Yeah, one more lap at least. I was gonna say at least it's somewhat quick, but there's still been 2 minutes. Very. I do have to give them credits though. Now or never, it's an inspired choice. Like it's the obvious choice if you're Splatooning, but like, come on. Yes, it is absolutely here for Splatoon rap. What you said, Undertale at first. Now that would pop off on a random track. Why is there Undertale on the Splatoon track? Why is there not? Is this the one we played on DS? No, I think this is different, but it feels similar. Like, I mean, I'll have to double check, but... Oh! Speaking of inspired choices. What a track. I mean, I just like Scarlet and Violet's OST, believe it or not. I just like Scarlet and Violet. That makes me weird. Look, when we get back to that playthrough, it's gonna pop off, okay? Just wait until they eventually reveal the release date of that patch. See the Sans track where it starts out easy and goes into the most outrageously hard track ever? The Bone Zone. True, I'm too busy shilling for Game Freak anyway. Don't ask my opinion on Pokemon now. It was alright. We'll talk about that on Wednesday, I'm sure. See, I like that it's Moo Moo Meadows just with some kind of cool edits. I appreciate this. And, you know, all the more for Area Zero music, I guess. Probably the only person I've seen on the recent online space. Does anyone ever particularly King? I don't think that's a new trend. I think that's in fact a fairly old trend that just kind of changes in what's the word? You know, target, quote unquote. I don't know. Once again, as I say, we'll get back to the Scarlet and Violet though, and I think of another playthrough. Darn it! Been teasing it for a year. No. What will I do now? What will I bait and switch people with this time instead? Detective Pikachu Returns? I forgot about that game. Maybe. At some point, maybe. It's alright, because Text Pikachu 3 will be revealed, and I didn't think of anything further. Someone did bring up a good point with people saying how people can skip over. Yeah. It's really weird, like, the people who are like, oh god, why isn't Pokemon like this now? It's like, there's loads of good RPGs that are still like this. Just play those, like everyone else moved on to. You're like, oh, I wish Pokemon was so gorgeous in pixel art. Why didn't they stay with pixel art? Guess what did stay with pixel art? Like 90% of Square's new RPG releases. So I always see that as well. It's like, why is there not a HD 2D version of this Pokemon game or whatever? Why don't they collaborate on it? It's like, what about playing the HD 2D versions of games that already exist? Oh, is this the Bowser's Fury song? Bowser's Fury's great. That's another one I should replay on Switch too, since that is apparently technically getting a patch. I don't know why. I'm guessing 4K. Still, Bowser's Fury. Oh, that'd actually be a fun stream, because it'll only take like 2 sessions to 100% realistically. Make sure I have my Bowser Skylander Amiibo hybrid on hand to invoke Fury Bowser at any point, because it's pretty useful for it's pretty useful for that. 100%. Maybe Bowser can unleash his Fury at Nintendo for the pricing. Well, I don't have to pay any money to upgrade Bowser's Fury, so I'm not gonna. But I'm glad we found our way onto Switch 2 game prices. We hadn't talked about it this stream yet, so we're keeping in tradition. But no, actually, I think did we avoid it during Fist of the North Star on Wednesday? We probably talked about it, right? There's no way we didn't. We were live for an hour. You implied it, but you didn't say it, and that's the key. Also, did you say it? I thought you more so implied it at controllers more than games, right? Or was it technically both? Because I think I specifically said game pricing, but general pricing works too. Also, you're talking about Switch 1 controllers, eh? That's different. Legit went live to breeze through the final boss. I didn't know I was gonna breeze through it that much. Really? Seriously? How big is this recording file? God, how big is this video? Sorry, my recording stopped. How has that got to 60 gig in 2 hours? What? Fine, I guess we're relying on the Twitch version again, for the same reason as before. How has that got to 60 gig? What? Huh? Bearing in mind I recorded last week's one, which was like 2 hours again. I was only like, I looked, it was like 12. It was like 12 gig. What have I done this time to cause that? Must have changed some weird quality setting on accident at some point and just not noticed, I'm guessing. Okay. Get in there on this one too, just the one more track. Teehee Trails. Everyone teeheeing out there right now? What's so teehee about the trails though? That's what I want to know. What a strange name for a track. Unless there's some Mario reference they've just missed out on. Most likely. That happens a lot. What on earth is this? Any knows? See, DX would imply it's some sort of remake, I'm guessing, but I couldn't tell you of what. Mario and Luigi again, maybe? I don't know. Doing the VGM show on Wednesday? Indeed. April 2025 recap. So, anything that fits, feel free. Fist Talk Inbound? That's also going to be on RS on Friday, because I'm doing an entire show on RS about it, so if I only do 3 sentences, that would make sense, because I'm saving it for Friday. I mean, you got like 15 hours of stream out of me, but you can hear my opinions throughout that. Oh, yeah, there we go. I was thinking Mario and Luigi, so it makes sense. So, Superstar Saga is another one I've been putting off playing for ages. I was going to play it before Brothership, and then Brothership came out and I had a load of Amazon credit. Because a pre-order cancelled on me. Well, I cancelled on the pre-order because they randomly added a load of money to it that I didn't want to pay when it was already £100. So because of that, I had a load of Amazon credit, so it was effectively quote-unquote free. It wasn't, but it feels free, even if it's not. So I got Brothership, because everyone was really hyped about it the first couple of days, and I was like, oh, I'll just start here instead. And then it took like a week, and everyone was like, actually, Brothership's dog shit now. It always was, or whatever, so I was like, oh, okay. It's not a good place to start either, apparently, so I was like, oh. Great. So I bought into the hype, just didn't start it in time, and during that time everyone decided that actually all the reviews they lambasted for being wrong weeks before are actually entirely correct the entire time. I was there the full way through. I mean, I basically asked you which days you wanted me to stream half the time, because you were the only viewer. Right, there we go, another GP done. It was fine, just nothing too memorable of a track. It was pretty standard. This is the Mario and Luigi, indeed. The Lario and Luigi, I think I said there, or something like that. Okay. Oh wait, I don't want to go as Wiggler again. Who do I want to be? You know what, talking about Luigi. Here he is. Did we ever get sales data on it? I honestly don't remember. Okay, well, full on Retro Cup. I mean, I know Advance Wars did dog shit, so hardly surprising considering the circumstances, but still, I know that didn't perform very well. Once again, you know, it did get sent to die a little bit. Oh, it's a great song in the original once again. It's jazzy, it's living up. It's living up to the vibes. Yeah, pretty much. I think they said it was coming out like a month before it was coming out when they re-announced it, right? Yeah, they used all the marketing budget for the initial marketing that then amounted to nothing because they had to delay it. I mean, they kind of did have to delay it, like... The initial decision wasn't wrong, it was more of a year for it to come back, and you know, the fact it took a year to come back during that time, there was like basically no info about it, which once again, you kind of can't give info at a certain point, but like, it was more the issue of when it came back, it was radio silent with no marketing and all hype had died down. So half the people who wanted to play it... Didn't it leak, if memory serves correctly? So I feel like half the people just played the leak, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't stop Call of Duty bring out a stop. Correct me if I'm wrong though, isn't the enemy team in Advance Wars kind of an allegory for Russia somewhat in one of them or something? I remember hearing that. It's probably completely bullshit and I read into it, but I was under the impression there was some sort of correlation that made it even worse than people thought. Or probably assumed it was. I think I'm wrong. It sounds wrong coming out my mouth, but I thought I remembered hearing that from someone. You know, I'm pretty sure it leaked, because if memory serves correctly, it got uploaded onto the eShop or something, so people got the files or something? I want to say it leaked. I feel like I remember this. Which, you know, is normally bad enough when it's 2 weeks, but it was effectively like a year, if that is the case. I'll have to look it up at some point. Thank you, Willy Maker, for this track. Great stuff. You were like close to release. What, original release? As in you had it pre-ordered, but I'm guessing you mean second release. Yeah, I was going to say, this track is surely going to go down well with you, Larry, considering... I know you request this on VGM all the time. See, a couple of times you've requested, there was like 1 month you did it the same month this came out. I was tempted to just change it to this version, but... I'm not doing that. I'm not touching with changing people's requests to remixes anymore. Those days are gone. Need to get Mario Rabbids Spark of Hope. No idea when it actually came out. Oh, no, when it actually came out. Right. I feel like I've seen Sparks of Hope somewhat cheap somewhere recently. Can't remember where. I mean, this track has some lighting issues. Like, the lighting's just really weird if you look at the snowballs and stuff. Like that. Some stuff's really like glossy and reflective as well. Yeah, it is like £10, but I think that's mostly the digital version if you care about that sort of thing. If not, I think I'd seen the Kart was more what I was getting at. I should play those games. I keep meaning to grab the original one, because I don't like strategy games at all, so I feel like that might be a somewhat easy... Or not don't like, I just don't get on with them because I'm not very good at them, so I feel like that would be an easier introduction to stuff like that. Rayman DLC be cool, and kinda true. I don't like giving Ubisoft money generally as a rule of thumb, but I don't think they ever printed that on Kart, did they? First one is good, I played it and apparently the second one's better. I did hear the second one was very good, yeah. Just kind of... The overlap of Nintendo fans and people who don't want to give Ubisoft money is pretty large, so I think the team mostly got let go, didn't they? Which was kind of sad, or they moved on their own accord or something like that. Which honestly, you know, kind of good for them, but also, you know, they had a good thing going all the same in spite of the company's general shitness. I mean, yeah, Ubisoft had some problems between 2017 and 2023 or whatever it was. You know, I'm gonna put my hands up there and say something controversial. Yeah, the concept of the first game was also a new and shocking thing, because everyone thought it would be... Everyone was like, what? What is this? And then everyone was like, well, we crap, won't it? And then people actually really liked it. And it was like a surprise sleeper hit. Especially since it was really early on, wasn't it? It was like... It wasn't release day, but it was... Wasn't it pre Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? It was kind of like one of the few Mario things to play at launch, right? I'm pretty sure it was pre-Deluxe, but yeah, I don't think it was launch. Oh no, I know it wasn't launch. I think it was within that first 2-month window, right? Yeah, it was enough to where it was like, this is one of the only Mario things to play on the console. You know, like 7 billion Mario games. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Oh no, it was 29th of August, so it still predates Odyssey and like other platformers and stuff. Yeah, I remember, like, of my, like, 20-person big friend list at the time, pretty much everyone played it when it came out, and as I say, I think it kind of helped that it didn't have much competition in terms of first-party Mario stuff. For sure, when compared in like 2023 or whatever, there's literally like 20 to 30 Mario games you can play on the console. You're not starved for, I guess I'll play a strategy game if I don't like them, because this is all I have. I remember the collector's edition of that sat in my game for so long. Also, this is a really good remix, as is another Bowser Castle coming up soon. Oh. It's an interesting specimen, I doubt. Yeah, Brights are absolutely going to be chaos for that. I highly expect to never see one of those again with the team gone and probably no one fighting the court for getting it like a Switch 2. How did Sparks of Hope run? Because it's a late Switch game, so I'd assume not very well, just as an instinct. So it would probably benefit from a Switch 2 upgrade, but I'm guessing there's no way in hell that's ever going to happen between, as you say, rights and the lack of people. That South Park Snow Day is still sat in Game Lincoln. Yeah, it's probably like the only thing sat in. It's sat in that store, to be completely honest. I want to say it closed by now. Then again, you were only there like 2 weeks ago, but I thought it was scheduled to close relatively soon. I know it was May, so I'm pretty sure it was May. I don't actually say that with any confidence. Game is so over. Yeah, they closed the actual independent store in Lincoln like 3 months ago to put it in House of Fraser. Presumably knowing that House of Fraser was also in the red and going to close. They like doing that every now and then. They go, yeah, we're moving it into what is presumably behind the scenes an already doomed store. It happened at another one kind of near me. They moved it into a House of Fraser, and then like 3 months in, House of Fraser got forcibly closed because they weren't paying the bills. And it's like, surely if you looked at the balances to move this into House of Fraser, you knew you weren't paying rent on the House of Fraser. Like, surely you knew that it was going to close sometime after you did this. So yeah, they like did a huge mass wave of like everyone lost their jobs and you effectively were raffled into whether you were going to be put into the House of Fraser one. Presumably whatever prick did that knew that it was going to probably come under scrutiny sometime soon anyway. But yeah, put people through all that stress only to just actually just lose it anyway, psych. Surprisingly often they put it into a doomed store just so they don't have to run any in that town, but under the pretense they're at least going to keep one. Yeah, we love it. We love them. Great. I was just one selling old cheap stock. Yeah, that happens surprisingly often as well. I mean, I think we already said on here at some point, I don't even think they're doing pre-orders for Switch 2. They will presumably just, because it comes off the, wherever they get their stock, it will presumably be easy enough to get with, like, PS5 games. They'll presumably do Switch 2 games, but I just can't see them doing the console, particularly full stop, even when the pre-order period's over. Which, it's been said 1,000,001 times, why would I want to buy my games at the store called Game, I suppose. That one's on me. Okay, SNES Rainbow Road remix time. Okay, we've already got a glider, so this is indeed living up to the remix, for sure. Like, for sure, the entire thing's nuts, but we've been saying for years that it's nuts and it only gets worse. Rumour has it they can run the business into the ground and get some sort of rebate for it. Because if you do it the way they're doing it, you can prove it's unviable or whatever. The British government goes, yum yum yum, absolutely. Time to buy out a sinking business. Thing you say, Mike. There's luckily still like some good options clinging on. Like, I don't want anywhere near Smith's Toys is really good for games generally. That was my go-to even before all my local games closed, so nothing changed that much if I wanted to get games in town, and sure enough, it was where I got my Switch with, just because that was where I happened to have stock when I was doing the rounds, so worked out quite nicely, and they're generally pretty good for that sort of stuff. There's like couple other, obviously like the independents and stuff, but yeah, supermarkets have given up a long time ago as well, so you definitely gotta choose your battles when it comes to this sort of stuff. Yeah, it kind of sucks. HMV have been dipping their toes. Yeah, they stopped for years. And then they just kind of decided sometime recently we're going to start doing games again. Admittedly, you tend to, from what I've seen from afar, place the order in store. If it's definitely a console, the order's in store, the console isn't, kind of thing. But I think some games they do actually keep locally. Not all of them, but some of them I think they do. I don't know, that's weird. Right, we're talking Mario vs. Rabbids. I'm thinking of the picture of King being held by DK Rabbids, so let's go with old Donkey Kong while we still can before Nintendo physically remove him from my game. Getting towards the end of the tracks I've actually played. We're getting kind of close to the new guys. I'm gonna guess, just based on name, Xenoblade? Question mark? It's always Xenoblade or Mario and Luigi I've learnt today. That seems to be the consensus. I'm gonna go right. You can't stop me. Oh. Oh, okay. See, I thought that was like, you know, like you can go behind waterfalls and stuff sometimes in this game, or in, you know, normal Mario Kart. I mean, I assumed that was what was going on. No! Just funky track design. Not that sort of funky. We are DK after all, you can't be too funky right now. There's like a limit, you know? It's alright enough. That little bit there, you know, that we just struggled with is a bit confusing for a first timer. Breath of the Wild. Huh. I mean, I guess it's the front-running beat. If it didn't have the front-running beat, it would sound Breath of the Wild. It's just... yeah, it's just the... doom, doom, doom. Just doesn't make it sound like Zelda at all, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. Even then, it still goes a little too fast for what I know of Breath of the Wild. So what, can I trick? You can trick off that? That's weird, but okay. Sure thing. Ooh. I actually thought I was going to make that. It's alright, I'm hugely far ahead compared to those guys now, so it's all cool. Great commentary from me, I'm just realising. I don't have anything else to say about it. Oh, Divine Beast, so I'm guessing it's some sort of, like, boss slash big fight then. I guess the speed of it makes sense at that point. Oop. Oh no, I made it. Not that it matters, this is like a tiny bump boost, and yet I'm still stressing over whether I hit it or not, but speed is key. Am I going to make that? Yeah, I am. There's plenty more height than I had last time, even though I think I was holding perfectly down to go up last time as well. But whatever floats Mario Kart 8's boat, I guess. Okay, and I'm going to do the usual, just plummet to my death after getting the finish line, because it makes me laugh. Like that, see? Interesting enough track. Not like one of the standout ones to me, but I appreciate it enough. Now, Donut Plains 2. Thankfully, a very quick track. So, gotta make up some time here. I mean, you're already at 2.5 hours. It's rough. It's rough around these parts, okay. I keep trying to look at the recording timer, forgetting that the recording stopped, because I'm still baffled that that hit 60 gig. Yeah, I forgot this is just the same song as the Donut Plains that's actually in the game. Is 2's... No, because I want to say 2... Okay, that's a weird turn, but whatever. Because I thought 2 was the one that was in DS, but this doesn't... This isn't ringing any bells. Maybe this is just SNES only. Oops. Oops again. That corner just sucks. Like, what were they thinking with that one? I think that's just a Nintendo issue rather than the track author issue, but like, goodness me. I'm lucky I've got a tight drifting bike, and even then I still have to brake drift for it. Good. Good one. Solid. Okay. Round and round. Luckily I was going slow enough to that one, where it didn't matter. I know Larry said earlier, am I enjoying MK8D Deluxe drifting being back? Yeah, I am. Tracks like that remind me of why it's so great. Purple Boost adds so much to Mario Kart 8 for me, like, going back it's like, yeah, well, it's the same as every other Mario Kart, so, you know, it plays perfectly fine, but it's so satisfying to hit those, like, mega turbos. Hang on, how many more do we actually have? Yes, we do. Okay, so we have 4 after this. I played these... No, they've mixed around some tracks. I don't think I played GBA Rainbow Road. I have no memory of GBA Rainbow Road. Okay. Whatever. I'm pretty... I mean, if I looked at the... Look here at the soundtrack. I'm pretty sure GBA Rainbow Road's new, so how is it in a mostly... Has it in another bit of the pack? No, it isn't. Okay, I made that up. Well. So I did say the Pac-Man track was in here earlier, like 2.5 hours ago. Here it is. I mean, the track as well, or the music track. Always gonna make the distinction. Listen to that. It's great. I mean, very Pac-Man World. I mean, given it's GP2. GP2's what, like... 6? That's pretty appropriate timing. World 3 was 2005. So yeah, we are slap bang in the middle of that era of Pac-Man. Oh my, what an era it was. I'm wondering when we're going to hear more about whatever they're doing with Pac-Man World currently, because I know there was talk that they were looking into... There was like a survey for a little bit, like what would you want, a new one or a remake of 2 or what? I was like chatter of that for a little bit. Like a year and a half, if not 2 years ago. I kind of wonder what came with that. I mean, I'm sure the general consensus will have been to remake 2 instead of making something new for some reason, but 2's alright. 2 is very heavily like nostalgia goggled, but I kind of appreciate some bits of it for what they are regardless. At the same time, also nostalgia goggled. 3 I've not played, but I know people don't like 3 anywhere near as much, so if even they can't look past that, then I've got something to look forward to at some point. I actually feel like playing that in like 2086. I have the actual disc. It was like 30 quid, so I really should get some money out of that to purchase at some point, instead of just playing it on Xbox for like £5. Thank you GameCube prices being stupid for no other reason other than it's Nintendo. Glad to see something don't change. Because I wasn't there doing the GameCube prices are actually very reasonable considering. It's just the third-party market has absolutely ruined that as a console to play anything on if you're not planning on sailing the seas and all that. I didn't realise until now. Is that a question mark? It feels like a question mark. It doesn't obviously look like it on the map, but that's what I did. It's kind of cool. This is slapping. What a tune. Okay, then one more of this cup. Then down to the last 16. Last quarter. AK Bay. Let's go. I skipped way too early, but that was a very long track credit, I just noticed. Lighting is a little blown out looking. Okay. I didn't actually see what the track was. Music track, once again, distinction. Some of you... The map looks confusing and the corners feel very blind, so... we'll see how this one goes, but as a concept, I like it. Just don't remember it. Like, I have memories of most of the others, even if it takes a while for them to come back. I don't remember this one. I'm sure it's not new, but I don't know. Maybe it swapped something else out. Probably didn't. Probably just not remembering it. Maybe. Weirder things have happened. Cool. Oh, wow. Very bumpy. Once I got used to it, that was pretty nice. It's just like this opening bit here, you just can't see over the horizon. Oh, sounds very seaside. Why are those ramp textures so like quality? Like, look at the up close here. Why is that so low quality? It's just like the normal Mario Kart 8 one. Do they just rip it in a really like low resolution and just not notice? I don't think it's anything fancy or bespoke. I like the beginning of the theming for this track. Like, I get the second part, you know, like you're at the seaside slash whatever, you know, you want to call it. So you've got to appreciate the underwater life as well. Like, it's a cool idea for like a two-part track for sure. I just think I prefer the theming at the first part of the track personally. Like, it definitely had like sandy levels in Mario Kart, but it feels a bit less explored than, you know, your typical underwater level as a concept. For me personally. So. Pretty good stage. Oh. Readjust. The redeem isn't working, but can you play the Mario game as Mario? I don't know why it's not working. Did I limit it to only once per stream per person? That might have been something I did, either on accident or on purpose. I don't want to take too long, because I am very much aware people want to... you know, people very much want to go to sleep at some point, but I will just double check that for you. It's fine, I will do that without the channel point, but I want to know why that's not working for future reference. Picking game... What's the cooldown on this? Yeah, it should only be... Oh, yeah, each user can only do it once per stream. That's weird. I'll do it to like 5. 5 feels fair for something like Mario Kart. Less so for something like Smash, but something like Mario Kart, that feels fair. Try again now. If not, I'll just do it anyway. I was also kind of thinking Mario, so it works out. There we go. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's working nicely. Okay. Shy Guy Bazaar's another one that I'm not huge on from its original source material, but once again, most of the tracks that I've been saying that about have redeemed themselves so far, so let's give it a fair shot here too. Just realised you had a confusion about GBA Rainbow Road, but it is the... Oh, now Puzzle Plane. This is a very underrated song. I feel like I say that and it's probably used in like 7 billion YouTube videos like every Nintendo YouTuber does. Confused about Rainbow Road, but it's the title screen and in your stream layout. Yeah, but it's not GBA Rainbow Road. There's N64 in the background, and I actually don't know what one's the background in Deluxe. I'm going to assume... Or CTGP Deluxe. I'm going to assume it is actually GBA Rainbow Road, based on the fact that that was the only one in the pack. Minus the remix one. I mean, looking at it, it almost kind of actually looks like Wii Rainbow Road, so maybe that was in there at some point before Nintendo added it and then they vetoed it. You know, I remember which one GBA Rainbow Road is. It's the one with the bouncy roads and stuff like that, but I just couldn't remember its placement in the cups. I thought it was a new edition, but it isn't a new edition. It was the final track that ended off the pass originally. Now it doesn't, because, you know, they added the new cups at the end rather than adding them at the beginning. Anyway, sorry, I love Puzzle Plant Galaxy, did I mention that? Such a good song. Like, it's one of those ones from Mario Galaxy that, like, doesn't go as appreciated because, you know, it doesn't fit in with the typical, you know, oh my god, this orchestra is incredible, which it is, don't get me wrong, but because of that, that's all everyone remembers of Mario Galaxy, so, like, some of the wackier songs kind of get a little bit left out of that. Yeah, it definitely fits a stage like this as well, just like a, you know, it's a very rural on purpose, kind of like a hoedown shindig kind of feel, so it works. Is it compared to the Lost World Orchestra though? What, Mario Galaxy? I got the joke. The Lost World Orchestra, even on a serious note though, oh, they went ham. I always say something and I can't remember which instrument it is. It's like woodwind. Like, you never hear woodwind in Sonic tracks. Make note of it. Whenever you hear it, it's like, this is the only time you're ever going to get to hear this in a Sonic track. And he punches the desk. That was like 10 seconds ago. I don't know why I brought this up now. No, I want to say I played this track in GPDX. Have I? I don't actually know. Hear an instrument and be like, yeah, that's a Lost World track. That's not guitar. That's a non-guitar instrument in my Sonic game. Where's the Crush 40 theme song? What do you mean the theme song has no lyrics? This sucks. And sure enough, like, literally every other game after that went, yeah, sorry, we won't do that again. Like, God forbid, we tried something different for a little bit, I guess. Hey, that. Shadow Gen's I mean, that's all how Shadow is technically the theme, of the vocal theme of that, but otherwise it doesn't really have a vocal theme, does it? Aside from that, like, pretty much every other time we have to have a vocal theme. A vocal rock theme, just in keeping. Yeah, I like the use of additional layers here to, you know, drown the voices out a little bit. That is very true. Good point. Forgot about that. But I can replay it again on Switch too, which I can't lie, semi-excited about. I know the price is going to come up as soon as I say that, but I'm paying $35. I'm less bothered. I paid about as much for it pre-owned on PS5. Oh yeah, the drums got to be changed. The drums have got to go. Can't wait to hear the third or fourth mix of what I'm made of. And the best thing is like, you'd assume, like, you know, Act is an incredible drummer, so you'd assume I'd prefer that version, but I actually don't. I just like the original version more. Like a couple tracks like that in Shadow Gems, it's like, you could have gone so all out on this, and instead it's just like a re-recording of the instruments of the same track. Like, you know, supporting me was like Richard E.B. and stuff like that. Like, imagine you got like Johnny Atmer on the What I'm Made Of, I think I've said before, because his cover of that's amazing. Like, you know, imagine that. All the tracks got remixed and changed with the 2008/2009 Crush 40 compilation. Honestly forgot about that. N64 Bowser's Castle is a pretty short stage. I can't remember how long this one is. I mostly prefer the originals. Yeah, for sure. What I'm made of having the painted snare drum. It's great, isn't it? Luckily, because of this mostly being retro tracks, the GP's gone really quickly so far. Long may it continue. I say mostly, it's been a 50-50, so I'm not really sure what I'm talking about. Yeah, I already mentioned this is one I don't particularly like that much in the original game. I mean, you can see the track layout here. I don't really feel like it does much unique. The theming's kind of cool. Like, it's not really something you've had before or since, but it also leads to the typical, you know, sand/dirt equals ice that Mario Kart loves. CTGP is a fun time though. Incredible game. Have you actually played it yet? Aren't you in the process of considering playing it? Or did you buy it? I can't remember. CTGP's peak. I had the thoughts about Unleashed earlier and how it's basically the last time they threw money at a Sonic game. You could argue Frontiers nearly gets there. Like, it feels way cheaper than Unleashed in a lot of ways, but it's clear. Mostly had time thrown at it more than money, but you know, time quite literally in that instance is money to a certain degree. But yeah, Unleashed is like the last time they really just like spent like loads on a game. I mean, like, how many minutes worth of Marza animation do they have just for online trailers? There's minutes worth in like those Sonic and Chip trailers that just aren't even in the game because they were just splashing out because they were like, how do we regain people's trust? Is it making a good game? Partially, but is it also making as much content as we can and making it as high budget as we can? Yes. Like everyone says, yeah, the werehog padding isn't needed or whatever. Like, you can't deny a lot of effort went into it and the extra stages, and with both the werehog and Sonic that you don't even have to play to complete the story. They said, like, there's way more Marza animation in that game than there's ever been before or since, as far as I know. You know, like a bunch of little things like that. Like, the OST has a lot more additional instruments on it compared to, like, a lot of games after it, which, you know, once again, Frontiers can be the only other one that uses, like, some weird outlandish instruments. That and Lost World, everything else is, like, yeah, you can get away with guitars, bass, drums, etc. So, you know, nothing wrong with, like, the Gen soundtrack for that reason, for example, but, you know, certainly leads to like a less grand feeling because you don't have like a huge orchestra or like loads of different you know, like genres and instruments and things like that. Yeah, with Unleashed, as soon as 06 came out, they had to cook straight away, basically. Yeah, Frontiers feels really like impressive musically because, as I said, it's got like a really big spread of instruments and compositions and like types of song and things, which that Unleashed kind of has the same benefit. You know, it goes a long way in a soundtrack versus a bunch of songs that, you know, are very different in melody but very similar in composition and track types and stuff, you know. Okay, so another case where I can swap out the track, but I will leave it on CTGP. I mean, N64 Bowser's Castle, first of all, look at this. Right, wow, they've taken some liberty with this, but in the good way. Second of all, N64 Bowser Castle, great track. One of the best Bowser Castles in the series for sure. Right, this is really cool. This, you know how I said like some feel like they can fit right into the Booster Course Pass? This could fit right into base game Mario Kart 8. Like you could tell me like, yeah, you slipped into a coma, this was actually in here the whole time or whatever, you know. And I'd believe you. Like, look at this. This is great. Like, obviously, you know, some corners cut in terms of like, there's some weird lighting things going on because it is a custom track after all. Yeah, like, this is really cool. Whoa, okay. Speaking of Crash 14 Frontiers, another thought I had is Jun is literally unable to make a dark sounding song for any of the games I know with the way he tunes guitars and so on, which is why Frontiers is shocked they just went all out. Yeah, like, you would be mistaken for thinking that the vocal theme in this instance was all the vocal themes were composed by Jin, so it's really surprising then that it's just Tomoya Ohtani actually making really good rock songs. Like, you do have to imagine he might be shaking a little bit off the back of that, because like, Shadow Gens has a good OST, but like, it's one of the weaker ones in recent memory to me for sure, and I think a lot of other people feel the same. Now don't get me wrong, Sonic Racing Crossworlds is a 2025 racing game. But you know, certainly Shadow Gens. I enjoy a lot of the tracks. There's also a lot of them, like, Rail Canyon's good, but I actually think I'd take the original Rail Canyon track over both of the remixes. And, you know, they're the same artist in the case of Rail Canyon Act 1. Like, it's a really good song, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. It's just a down key version of the original with some new drums. Okay, so I thought this was closer to 2 minutes, but it's actually going to be like over 3 minutes at this point, which is fine. It works out for me. I mean, Jun's still a great composer, don't get me wrong. I feel probably just been very dark in terms of what he can do, because like Shadow Gens basically has no original music, right? Like, it's all a remix or like a reimagining of something. And I think what, like, the last thing that was... There's Superstars, and I know it's Superstars. That isn't Superstars. Probably had some stuff in Frontiers that I just can't think of. But, like, in that style, I'm talking about completely new, like, creatively taxing. Like, Superstars is arguably creatively taxing. It just, you know, unsurprisingly doesn't sound very good. But, like, composition-wise, not composition-wise, but, like, melody and stuff and everything like that is completely fine. It's just how the, you know, final result came out. Yeah, like, aside from that, like, the guitar, the modern stuff, I don't think of the last time there had been, like, a really, like, challenging / taxing kind of thing to be thrown his way. Which makes sense. You know, not going to be on the ball if you're not made to be on the ball. Right. Either way, in the long run, I don't mind. Yeah, for sure, like, still pumping out some good stuff. I'm gonna go Birdo. Because I can. Right. This might be a bit of a short one as well, based on the fact we got a couple GBA / SNES style tracks in here, and I mean, I know my way around Wii Bowser's Castle for sure. Okay. See how this one goes. That's why I wish they'd play the Magnify version of All How Shadow Live, which didn't happen because Jim didn't write it. Exactly. Can imagine though. Okay, so this is 2 laps, so this is inherently much longer than I thought it would be. Oops. Oh well. What's all the icons about? I mean, I know they're like the cups, but is there a deeper meaning? Is this like an early level, last level kind of thing? Or... not too sure. Oh wait, are we doing segment? No. No, it's just banners. Okay, so what, this will take like 2 minutes roughly then maybe? Looking at how long it's taken to get around the track. So actually quite a short one in the end. Just for some... Why does this not show up on the map? Okay, I thought this was just my monitor washing it out, because like, for example, I can't see any details on the loading screen. I need to mess my contrast at some point. No, it is that white looking at the capture screen as well. Oh, more like a minute and a half. Oh, okay. So 3 minutes. Yeah, I get the 2 lap thing now. That was a bit more Shy Guy, to be fair. Need that Switch 2 WarioWare? What about the 2 Switch 1 WarioWares? They were pretty good. I really liked Move It. I still need to play Smooth Moves at some point, because I started with Move It of the two, but I had a really good time with Move It. Remake of Wario World? Why wait? Just play it on your Wii. A remake could fix a lot of issues, but I mean... Actually, saying that, Treasure basically exclusively exists to remake games at this point, so... They exclusively exist to re-release Ikaruga, so... Mouse Space WarioWare? That would actually be incredible. You've opened a lot of ideas for me. But yeah, like, there you go. Treasure made the game, so... It's not as impossible as you might think, actually, thinking about it. Probably a little beyond them at this point, but you never know. There's a chance. Is this one a long one? I remember it, but I'm struggling to remember. I need to hear that pause theme in a crisp audio file. What a song. He poured his heart into that one, respect. Oh. Snowball Park, okay. Oh no, this one isn't long at all. This is... I remember having like a couple issues with some of the turns or something. I should get Roberto. Could happen. It won't, but it could. Oh yes, there's like this turn here. I remember why I remember this now. Which one's Snowball Park? It's 3D World, right? Because whenever I like picture Snowball, well, like think of Snowball Park, this isn't the one that plays, but I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's the 3D World song. She apologizes afterwards too. It's a game. It's one of the games for sure, but they really cooked on that track. The one thing you gotta give them credit for, if nothing else. Love him more, hating me do kind of be spitting though. Yeah, why Boshi over Black Yoshi? Boshi feels like a weird pick to Nintendo. They've been acknowledging him a little bit more recently, I guess, but still a little bit of an odd one for me, but hey, I'm playing Mario RPG. I might take a bigger shining to Boshi soon. It might end up being the backup for all we know. Plan B. Boshi? Yep, there's the emoji. I was wondering if it was gonna happen. This turn's actually not been as bad as I remembered it being for the most part. Maybe they had revised it at some point, or just the memory's just way over exaggerated or something. Maybe exclusively for BT. Yeah, that definitely hasn't been brought out in a while. You must have been waiting. Whoop. Okay. I still enjoy it, but Yoshi, because presumably it's the official character name, the color goes in front, whereas Birdo, it's brackets. So it's like, it's light blue Yoshi, but Birdo brackets light blue. Just one of those weird little, yeah, I guess it makes sense, but it's still a fun fact kind of things. Was that, That's the thing from Mario Sunshine, right? They're definitely not in the original track, but that's kind of a cool deep cut, actually. By the way, another one of the standout remixes here. Opinions on the new Mario Kart designs then? I've honestly not seen too many minus DK. DK is a really tough one, because I think I said this before, and people are probably familiar, but I don't like the promo shots, but then I see it in movement in the DK game, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's definitely the Sunshine thing, by the way. Yeah, then I see it in movement in the game, and I'm like, ah, yeah, that does actually look, like, to be honest, kind of better, like, I get it. Yeah, then I look at, like, promo shots, and, you know, like, 2D artwork and things, and like, still not as sold on it, but characters like Wario, yeah, of course, the classic, Wario's got his ass back. Yeah, I kind of think there should be room for both, especially since seemingly, well, if Pauline's a child, then it has to rewrite basically all of Donkey Kong, right? From what we know. So, I don't know. But it's also confirmed to not be Cranky Kong either, so yeah, no one really quite knows what's going on. It's presumably going to be time shenanigans, but yeah, presumably it rewrites all of Donkey Kong anyway, so like, potentially nothing wrong with potentially leaving Rare Donkey Kong alone or whatever, but no, they made their decision. This is the one going forward, which it just takes time to get used to. Like, I'll be fine with it, give it a few months, but I'm still a little, you know, a lot to unlearn, etc. Everyone else, as you say, Wario's got his ass back, which people are happy with. I honestly can't think of any other differences off the top of my head, but feel free. I like the costumes. I know that's not quite what you asked. I'm more upset that the skins aren't a whole... The skin thing is really dumb. Like, the character select should not be that convoluted. Like, it should be how it works in this game, just with, you know, instead of, you know, like how the blue Yoshi selection works or whatever, but instead it's like Mario in a cowboy hat, Mario in a suit, like that. Why does it not work like that? Why are they separate entries like Tanuki Mario, for example? That makes no sense. Like, unless they're going for the argument that they give stat buffs and debuffs and stuff like that. That's why Tanuki Mario is separate, because for some reason Tanuki Mario has extra acceleration over normal Mario. Pauline has 2 skins, does she? I paid so little attention to Mario Kart World, honestly, minus the footage we've seen in official Nintendo Directs. And that initial, like, Switch 2 teaser, that's all I've seen. I've not watched, like, any deep analysis videos that people have been doing, or, like, followed, like, news updates on Nintendo Today, or anything like that. I kind of just disassociate when there's that much news about a game, honestly, and, like, there's that much picking apart of stuff. I just wait for it to come out. It's kind of what I'm doing with Mario Kart World. I'm excited because I'm not paying attention to it more than I am if I was dissecting every little bit of information coming out about it, personally, but I know a lot of people don't work like that. Kind of doing the same with DK. Like, I think DK is going to be really cool, but I'd know even less about DK, minus the leak that Nintendo Korea officially did for some reason, that Pauline's going to be a child in that game for some reason. Could buy money next month? Yeah. It's a tough world out here. Oh. Custom opening, okay. So yeah, this would have been the last track in 1.0, and, you know, all the version 1s. I don't know why they don't end on DS Rainbow Road. That makes more sense to me, but okay. I mean, I'll take it. No Switch 2 hours? Could be. Could be real Switch 2 hours on the other hand. Can you still bounce? Did they get rid of the bounce? Boring. I mean, you probably trick off it, but it's not the same, is it? Play fire? Okay. I mean, GBA Rainbow Road's one of the ones I'm less familiar with, but this doesn't feel that much like GBA Rainbow Road from what I remember, but it's also one of those tracks that basically never reappears in anything. Like, has it actually reappeared in anything that isn't Mario Kart Tour? I honestly can't remember it having done, so every time I've played it, it's been a custom track. So it's like, maybe this is the accurate one of the bunch, but 100% a Super Circuit track through. It doesn't feel like I remember it feeling, as I say, especially because the bouncy floors is so much of the feel. And yeah, as you say, the base game GBA tracks all take huge liberties, especially the Booster Course Pass ones. The Booster Course Pass ones don't even resemble the original tracks at all, but like there are semblances in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8's DLC. Okay. Took that a little tight, but it's fine. So these kind of work like the boost pads, I'm guessing, on Laptop Cruise then. Ironic considering we're about to see it after this. The way it's designed, oh yeah, for sure, it's a very simple track, but sometimes simplicity works. So like we're getting a new game, and yeah. Yes, absolutely. So look at all these references, by the way, in the background. That's really cool. Like, considering it's a custom track, that's something you'd expect way more from like Nintendo than the fans to, you know, edit in all these references into GBA Rainbow Road. Like, I'm pretty sure Daisy Cruiser was back there a little bit as well. That's some really cool stuff. It'll be 13 years since 8 when it comes out. Great, I know, like it's just nuts that it's A, been that long, but B, that they waited that long as well. Like, was it the best-selling Nintendo console ever? And they're like, yeah, we're not even gonna bother like attempting to thingy it for this console. I mean, they know it'll push Switch 2s, obviously, but I mean, like, I'm surprised they didn't try before now with a new one, but I'm guessing they thought it would undercut this game too much, which this game's a cash cow, so wouldn't want to disrupt that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Mario Kart World in its current state isn't coming to Switch 2, because, again, if people are obsessed with this game like they are, then it forces them to jump ship. I think it pushed the Wii U a lot with the bundle, same with Smash. Not anywhere near as much as anyone involved thought it would, but I certainly did steady the sinking ship, I would say. Without those two games, the story wouldn't have still been good, or the story would still be bad, but it would have also been far worse equally. Right, 2 more cups, both of which I've never played. I am going to, for one of these, who am I going to go with? I'm looking at this roster, like, I mean, played Funky Kong quite a lot. Never really played Diddy Kong in any of these, so let's go with Diddy. Now, I know what King's thinking, so best of luck. Godspeed. Dry Bones. I'm going to do Dry Bones next GP. So yeah, these are completely new tracks, as in, these are new to the 2.0 update of CTGP Deluxe, meaning I've never played them. I've only heard the music like once 2 months ago, 2-3 months ago at this point, so this is going to be a pretty fresh experience to me at this point. But luckily, we've only got 8 tracks left, so those of you desperately sticking with me, considering it's midnight, you know, not long to go. You already know my stance on Choco Island, so this is already really cool to me. Choco Island's also just a really fun song, so enjoying this remix once again. I think it's the same remix as before, right? So I'm going to assume it's the same remix as before. Yeah, like the changing, whatchamacallit, those guys swapping in and out is a really fun gimmick. I like that. What was I thinking? Oh, just Diddy. Kinda half expected it. It's like a 50-50 if you say it on a Twitch chat at this point, that someone will make some sort of joke. What was he thinking? What was it? What were they thinking? I like that a lot. That was one of the ones that definitely should have had more laps. Man, I had a... Have I ever sent you the Freddie Prinze Jr. Star Wars rant? Or those words... They're words that I understand. Not necessarily the order, but... It's feel free. I probably will be disappointed. No, I don't. I have no idea what I'm in for. So what, is this more DKR? I don't remember this track in DKR, honestly. I've never played it, but I've seen it quite a lot, and I have no memory of this track. So goddamn, going hard already. Oh, here we go. This is Halloween sorted, since you were talking about having December sorted, Aluri. Oh damn, this goes hard. This is great. Honestly, it makes me cry every time it's the guy who played Freddy in the Scooby-Doo movie for reference. He's been loads of other stuff too, and was in Star Wars. Right, okay, a bit more context for you. I'm still not confident, so we'll see how this plays out. Another one that needs more laps. Like, I get Diddy Kong Racing was only, you know, it was only 3 laps as well, so that's why. But like, I mean, come on, this track's great in both senses of the word, music and the course. A very simple one, of course, yeah, but I mean, that's, considering this is based on Diddy Kong Racing, it incorporates all the Mario Kart stuff very well. I'm guessing that one notification I have is the king. It is indeed. Okay. What is the context? I didn't click the Instagram quote. What have I done to have a Pipsel Cresty day? Yep, okay. Thank God the stream's nearly over. It's just, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't click it and it didn't embed, so I didn't actually see it. Okay, now, can we go free for free on Bowser Castle being some of the best remixes in this pack? I reckon we got a pretty strong chance. I actually forgot this was in here when I said 3DS Bowser Castle has loads of sharp twists and turns earlier, so we'll see. But already the track is like significantly bigger in terms of scale, which, yeah, works way better for this game for sure. Like, it's tiny in Mario Kart 7, and like, they don't... It's a little precarious for that reason, but yeah, like, here Mario Kart 8 doesn't really do small tracks, so upscaling it makes way more sense, and in turn also helps with the really sharp turns, because you've got a bit more leeway to deal with them. Ah, but it gets thinner as the that's actually quite clever. The closer you get to the end, the thinner it's getting. Yeah. Once again, very good track record of CTGP making me like tracks that I don't like. Very good reimaginings of them and making them work with Mario Kart 8 a bit better and stuff like that. So, good job, guys. I don't even dislike most of these tracks. It's just, mine's like Choco Island. Having just like really poor design decisions, I think. Most Mario Kart tracks are good, just not my favourites or whatever, you know. But like, they do a good job to really like rectify like some of the issues I have for sure. Yeah, there's good and less good in Mario Kart, basically. Nothing's ever like really awful for the most part, at least that I can think of off the top of my head. It's boring, but once again, boring's not necessarily even awful. Boring can be well designed, just not interesting or stand out, you know? Oh, I can clip off that, and hey, it gave me extra height, so I shouldn't complain. Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, I think you just struggle with the melody a bit, because it's not as strong of a melody as the others, but still a very good remix. I mean, you know, the lead is inherently a little, what's the word, you know, not as important as other parts of the song compared to, like, Bowser Castle, where, like, the main melody is the big thing, not, like, all the background instruments and stuff. Whereas, like, I don't know, 3DS Bowser Castle feels like it has a bit more emphasis on, like, everything that makes up the track or whatever, you know, so... Like that little do-do-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun makes up way less of the track than something like, Wii Bowser's Castle, where the melody carries the entire song. Whereas this is just like almost like a little chorus bit. Yeah, I didn't even realise that we played Diddy Kong during Diddy Kong Racing. It worked out. I keep meaning to like remember to put on the Sonic costume if I see a Sonic one upcoming, but I never actually did that, so this is the closest we're gonna get. This is the best we can do for now. So, it makes so much more sense to end on DS Rainbow Road. Why do they not do that? Oh well. I should have maybe done the other one first to make this make a bit more sense, but yeah. I mean, I've said 1,000,001 times, this is pre-Mario Kart 8, the anti-gravity track. Why was it not in the anti-gravity game? It didn't make much sense to me. I get it's, as was explained to me the other day, very different anti-gravity from what would end up in Mario Kart 8, but that's like still its gimmick. Like, surely it's a slam dunk to put this in the base game, right? Also, beat the remix. Wow, that's a really sharp turn considering that's just a normal loop-to-loop. Otherwise, GC Rainbow Road gets no love. I don't think it's ever. I always say that, and then it's always like in Tour or something daft. But I don't think it's like GBA. It's never. So what? This GBA and GameCube have never been in anything post-release, right? I don't believe so. It's always the others that scoop up the love and attention for sure. I mean, to be fair, both DS and Wii had a rule, at least I'm guessing, of no Rainbow Road in retros. It was only really set. Was 7 had one? Oh, SNES Rainbow Road, yeah. Yeah, 7 had one. I don't know why. It was a really weird rule, but yeah, because of that, then SNES was for some reason. Oh no, it was. I'm trying to think. N64, wasn't it? N64 was the one in the base game, then it was SNES in the DLC, then Booster Course was a couple others. But yeah, that therefore just by proxy leaves those 3 out, right? GameCube's one of my favourites as well. Like, this and GameCube probably for me are my 2 favourites. Like, Wii Rainbow Road gets a lot of love, and I think it's a good track, but I also don't think it's like the greatest one as it's hyped up to be. Like, it's pretty good, it's got a good song, but like, I don't know. Listen to this remix. I'll forever take DS Rainbow Road as a song as well over Wii Rainbow Road. This just goes nuts. Imagine this in like by the real Mario Kart 8 sound team. Like, no hate, as I've said, this is already a really good soundtrack and like clears some official tracks for me, but like, I don't know, hearing this with the Nintendo Touch would be insane for sure. I kind of feel a little cheated out of it, but yeah. We'll see what Mario Kart World's Rainbow Road is like, since once again Nintendo Korea kind of can't keep their mouth shut, so even though it's only been teased officially, we already know through official sources that it's in the game. GC Rainbow Road online would be crazy with all the items falling from the sky. Oh yeah, for sure, and like those really... I'm gonna guess the reason it's not come back is the really sharp turns at the beginning and the end. Like, most carts would take those fine, but like you need that double dash / DS drift to really deal with that effectively. Either that or the inside drift bikes of Wii, I guess, kind of also work in that regard. Right, one more. It was either Dry Bones or... I'm gonna go Dry Bones, why not? I love Dry Bones. He's one of my alternate picks I tend to go with when playing Mario Kart 8, so works perfect to end on him. KFC Dry Bones. Elaborate. Elaborate on that a tiny bit for me. Oh. We're coming out strong with sacks, okay? I mean, also a really good racetrack so far. It's gorgeous. It feels just like the original. I don't think I will. Are you implying the bones at KFC are dry, or like just a crumb of context, please, sir? I mean, yeah, not very Mario Kart 8'd in terms of not really added any gimmicks to it, but sometimes you don't necessarily need to. I think there's a couple tracks that mostly get left alone in the original. I mean, maybe there's like a glider somewhere that I missed. Like, I know there's a mushroom. Oh no, that's a mushroom cut. That did not slow me down. Did they just make that a normal route? Okay, I see the vision. And hey, I appreciate that they actually kept the boost up here, unlike DS, where for some reason you can't go this way. Not that if you're snaking or anything in DS this would be beneficial, but this was really cool in Double Dash. I don't know why they got rid of it. If you're playing the game normally, then it would be a nice feature, so I'm not really sure why it's not there. Displaying he is contracted from KFC Bones and they are dry. Pause champ. Oh, poor Wendy. Something like a glider up here would work perfect. Like, I don't know how you'd implement it. Like, you get to the top and then there's like a little gap or whatever, and then you glide or something. I don't feel like it worked. Good autocorrect. I mean, contracted kind of works. Like, it's not the right term, but it's also not the wrong term. Right, Luigi Circuit, another one of my favourites in the series, actually. I think I've said, it comes up enough, I've definitely said this in the last few weeks. I can't think of any other track in the series, someone will correct me. Technically, Cloud Top Cruise. I can't think of any other tracks in the series where Rain's the central theme. I just like it, it's just different. It's always... I mean, I don't know why it's so blue. Kind of like the grey feeling of the DS version, but... It's like oil slicks, that's not Rain. Yeah, no, it's always been one of my favourite tracks for that reason. This was one I desperately wanted in this game, even if it's simple. It's just always thematically struck me as really cool. I've always said one of my favourites as well is DS Mario Circuit because of the imagery and not even... The track layout's also really fun, but I don't know, sometimes just like thematically stages are really cool and deserve a place, not just because they drive really well. And this drives really well, but you know what I mean? Not because I have like crazy outlandish, like memorable things about them, but sometimes just because like, oh, it takes place in the rain, that is cool, there aren't really any other tracks like that or whatever. I don't know. I like it. No further justifications. This remix goes in a really different direction, but it's fun. Yeah, at least this feels way more like the original track than, I'm trying to think, what's the track? Oh, it's this track, but in, like, Mario Kart Wii, for example. Like, that one has, like, a rain shelter and, like, all this other stuff. It doesn't really feel like Luigi Circuit at all, but this feels exactly like Luigi Circuit, just slightly Mario Kart 8'd. Like, really cool. Good track. Like I say, the blue isn't necessarily how I do it, or the oil slicks, but both are still fun. I'm guessing just no way to, like, change the oil to resemble water or whatever, so did what they could with base game objects, which makes sense. Alright, Delfino Square. Also a really cool track that I wish was in this game. Once again, saved by CTGP. Also, a really good song. So, let's see how they do it. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Ooh. On the stage, it's gorgeous as well. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Just got rid of the buildings in that section. Ooh, and the harbour. Oh, and they've opened this up as well. Sorry, this is a really cool remake. This is kind of how I'd expect it to be in Mario Kart 8. Once again, feels very official. Really nice stuff. Oh, and the graffiti. Oh. They did their homework. This is great. Oh, and the map. Oh. Hats off to this dev. This is an incredible remake, and also really nice song going in the background. So what happens this way? That counts as going backwards? Really? Or is that just Lakitu freaking out? Can you do the gap cut? Oh, you can do the gap cut. I didn't even have to have a mushroom for that, huh? That's cool. Okay. So the bridge, I don't know if there's some sort of issue, only goes up halfway, but honestly it tends to fling you way too much if it's fully up anyway, so probably a good compromise. Oh! 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 So Larry, remember when you said about, when you said tracks can have alternate paths? Well, it took us 63 tracks, but I found one. Look at this! Oh, and you go back over the... Oh, man. This is great. Oh man, I feel a little robbed of this officially now, but this remake's so good. Oh, and the glider! If it was at midnight, I'd clap right now. That was really good. Easily the best track of the night. Seriously, respect. That was great. Right, and only one track to end off, and it's, of course... We're on a plant pipeline. Of all things. I don't know either, but that's how they chose to end it. Is this the tour track, or is this an original track that's heavily resembling it? Well, let's at least watch the full thing. I want to say that... I might be confusing it for a... Maybe it's a remake of a Wii track, because I know there's a America Wii custom very similar to this. Yeah, so it must be... It must exist somewhere else. I'm guessing Tor, but for some reason isn't labelled as it, unless it's just that. Sometimes it's that different to where they don't label it as such, but then that they've kind of put that remix tag on it for that reason, haven't they, before, so... I don't know. Interesting track though, liking this. Oh, that chorus though? Oh man, so much good stuff to play next month on the recap episode. But this song's going straight in, DS Rainbow Road's going straight in, maybe some others, but I'm gonna have loads of stuff to play considering I've seemingly played quite a bit so far. Yeah, really nice track. Loving this. I can kind of actually see why they ended on it. Once again, it feels a little weird to not end on a Rainbow Road, but they had their reasons. This probably being it, or they just forgot. That one could have also happened, for all I know. Ooh, nice camera. So camera's been surprisingly good about that today. It does happen in the base game every now and then as well, so not even necessarily the dev's fault or anything like that. Every now and then the camera does like do a little clip, but nice little out of bounds there. Oh, mind the crab, mind the claw grip. Really cool track. Another banger. Right, wow. With that, that's us done. Because I didn't do Grand Prix, I can't remember if there's credits or not. Obviously we won't see them because this is versus mode, and I don't think there's a way to manually trigger them from memory, but I don't remember if there was custom credits or not. I'm struggling to remember now. Regardless, thank you ever so much for watching, everyone. Going to be a short exit here as it's very late. I know for a fact people are staying up well past their bedtime, so thank you to everyone who's been here. I'll get this up on YouTube ASAP for those of you who fell asleep, missed it, etc. Next week, I'm between two minds of what I want to do. There's two things. It's either going to be multi-world randomizer, Mario Kart Wii versus Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If you have no idea what Archipelago is, we'll explain it all. Or Mario Kart 64 custom tracks. Don't know which one of the two I want to do more yet. One of them, the Archipelago one, has a huge amount of technical setup, but I'm really excited for it. And Mario Kart 64 I was going to do on console, don't have the cable, so I'm going to have to do it on emulator. I'm going to have to find what the best mod is, because people are always between two minds as to whether it's Overkart or it's Mario Kart Amped Up. So I have to decide on that one, but one of the two. We'll see. But for now, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Catch you all soon. Check this VOD out and many others on @ViperArchives, and I'll be back on Twitch next Monday with whatever that is, or Wednesday at 10 PM UK time, kngi.org for Viper's VGM. See you there, and thank you as always for a great episode. Thanks for joining me on Mario Kart Mondays. See you next week.